slipstream dance, taking the corners in a high-speed trance. Through the chicane, it's side by side. On Motor Mouth, there's nowhere to sun's going down and the rig is on. iRacing is where I belong. Discord's lit and the drivers are here. In I2I, there's no room for fear. Green flag drops and the engines roar. 40 cars and we all want more. Mash the gases, we're on the line. Four wide and we're feeling fine. Drifting close in a slipstream dance, taking the corners in a high-speed trance. Through the chicane, it's side by side. On Motor Mouth, there's nowhere to White flag, need a perfect lap. All gas, no brakes to close that gap. Checkered waves in the race is won. Another battle is over and done. Cheers to the booth, hope they like the show. Victory lane is all I know. Sun's going down and the rig is on. iRacing is where I belong. Discord's lit and the drivers are here. In I2I, there's no room for fear. Green flag drops and the engines roar. 40 cars and we all want more. Mash the gases, we're on the line. Four wide and we're feeling fine. Drifting close in a slipstream dance, taking the corners in a high-speed trance. Through the chicane, it's side
An 18-week regular season that will end on the 5th of December. That's also back here at Daytona for a night race, very, very much reflecting the real-life schedule. From there, the top 12 in points. There's no winning, you're in, thank goodness. It's top 12 in points that advance to the playoffs after the Daytona night race. So,
okay.
Okay, so I apologise. Welcome on to everybody listening in. Apparently, well, you couldn't hear us for what we were chatting about there.
It was good stuff, it was good stuff, I promise.
It was some of the best. But there you go. Welcome on to the Action Roofing Cup Series here this season at I2I Motorsports. Great to have you back again. A fourth season here for us. So we've had 2 O'Reilly Series now. We haven't had a Gen 6 Cup Series, though, and that's what we've got here this season. Starting off at Daytona here tonight. There's so much for us to chat through, as I was saying, with a few minutes left in practice. So let's chat through one of the big ones, really, with the new season starting. Top 12 advancing into the playoffs after the Daytona night race, after an 18-week regular season. First place in points gets to just 20 points, with 12 down to 0, with the others increments in between that. Everybody else will be reset to 1,000 points if they've run 14 of the 18 races, and they'll be fighting for 13th place effectively, which I believe there was rumours there was going to be a bit of a incentive for that one for those outside the top 12. But yeah, it's the big change, isn't it, this season? We haven't had one since the very first season of I2I. I'm personally a fan of the way that we've done it. I personally think 16 is a bit too many, and that's the way it's in real life. Top 12 here seems about right, and there's a 6-race run to the end that includes Rockingham, Chicagoland, Charlotte Auto Club, Texas and Homestead for the playoffs this year.
Yeah, good format. Looking through the schedule, and there's some different races out there this season that we'll come to take a look at as we go forward. But there's some wild cards as usual. Obviously, starting the race the way NASCAR starts their season here at Daytona. Talking with Michael Datamo, one of the admins, a little bit before the broadcast started. He was letting us know that, for these Gen 6 cars, they've ran hundreds and hundreds of laps over the past week, just testing the cars, letting everybody get a feel for it. and we're going to see some different things that we're not used to seeing. I think he said for tonight, the outside line is going to be really strong. The side draft works well. These cars take a little more pounding than the O'Reilly cars that we ran last season, so they'll do a lot more bump drafting. And with the outside line running as well as it does, we may see a lot of 2-wide action here tonight, and or maybe more than that. So lots of changes involved here, and of course, as we go along this season, we'll bring them all up. I think we'll say that we'll throw this out that Trey Graber, not here tonight, our race director, had a little bit of a medical issue that he's got to deal with today. So they're going to rely on the iRacing caution system to do a lot of the work. They are still going to do a manual caution flag at the end of the first stage, lap 45. But they're also giving the drivers a fast repair for tonight, just in case any kind of weird things crop up. It's going to give these drivers a chance to get back in the race.
Yeah, and that won't be the case throughout the regular races
Correct.
in this season. So there's no fast repairs normally, but there will be one tonight. Another big thing for this season, and this was the case last season as well, although we didn't talk about it too much, is the teams for this season. The teams that doesn't include everybody. There are some who are racing just as open entries, but there are teams around this season. Once again, some of the big names involved. Josh Perrin, for example, on the Prophecies Racing. Brian Nash, the reigning champion of the Drivers' Championship, is also in a team, Big Danny Motorsports, with Daniel Nogue, Braden Craycraft, decent team. They've got Sam Stramati, for example, Firehouse Racing also in there. Luke Guthrie is a reserve on that team, maybe suggesting that he's not going to be at many of the races. The Millers and the Merrifields are both on 812 Motorsports, so I presume that's a family relation team going on there, I guess, for those guys. And Zach Tyndall as well, just to pick out some of the big names. Wolfpack Racing on their team as well. We'll try and keep across the teams championship. It's a little bit of a secondary to the drivers, of course, but we'll try and keep an eye on it over the course of these races as well. As I mentioned, this is the Standing Stone Pools and Patios 250 here from Daytona here tonight. And as you mentioned here, Charles, 45 laps for that stage, 100 laps total. And you mentioned this being a long race. Well, we are going to see some generally quite long races this season. The Superspeedways are going to be 250 miles. So that's here at Daytona, obviously, on July the 18th. I believe we're going to... Sorry, we're not going to Atlanta. We are going to Talladega. That's on the September 19th. But those will be the two 250-mile races. 200-mile racetracks will be loads of them. There'll be intermediate racetracks of more than a mile in length. So, loads of them. Atlanta Legacy, for example, is next week, and that's going to be a 200-mile race, for example. The short tracks will be roughly 150 miles. Some of them don't quite add up to a round number, do they? But we'll be going roughly that long. And the road courses will be going roughly 100 miles. Again, can't get those bang on, but we are going to the likes of Sonoma, excuse me, for example, and Watkins Glen as well over the course of this schedule. So it's very much like a regular NASCAR schedule, I would say, Charles, but we don't have the repeats in it, basically. It's not 36 weeks, it's 24, but we don't have any repeats other than Daytona, I don't think. So it's a condensed schedule, I think, probably for the best.
I think so too. Yeah, I think I don't think we really need any repeats. There's no sense in going and running a 400, a couple. We obviously, you said Daytona was going to be a double, but with some of the things that we'll bring out here for this season, half length race basically is what we're looking at for a lot of these racetracks. And for what I would say sim racers, that's a pretty long race. I mean, it takes a lot of work to run 100 laps here at Daytona, and it's just you're on a knife edge for the entire 100 laps. So it is going to really be a strong test of our drivers this season. And then you throw in, as you said, road courses and short tracks, and even Bristol, the dirt track, is on the schedule. So that's just a completely different skill set, so that's going to be a wild race as well. So we've got some really fun races lined up this season, and yeah, it's going to be a long stretch, but when we get to the end of it, we're going to have a worthy champion who is going to be tested and come out on top, and that's really what you're trying to find out.
Yeah, indeed. It's a long season ahead, running to the end of January next year, but it is going to be as a worthy champion at the end of it, as the qualifying times are well and truly underway. Cameron Saro currently with the best of them. There's nearly 30 drivers out there tonight, by the way, and getting on for 40. Getting on for over 30. Not quite up to 40, but it does feel very, very busy out there tonight with over 30 in the field. I do wonder, in such a long race as well, you mentioned this is effectively a half race distance schedule this season, and for the most part that will be true. I wonder whether there's some sense here, because it is such a long race, in actually not qualifying at all and starting at the back to try and avoid the early wrecks. Now, the fast repair maybe takes that out the equation slightly, right. But I think it might be a play to stay at the back early on here in this race, given it's such a long one.
I would absolutely. That would be my main strategy. If I wasn't confident in being the fastest guy out there, and the car was really stable, I would definitely be looking to work my way toward the back, or just running a couple of laps at 90% pace, and then just starting in the back and just staying in the back until it's really time to race, and that's going to be in about 90 or so laps from now, when it's really going to start ramping up once we get this race underway. And yeah, it's always a sound strategy to start in the back. Obviously, with the fact that you're going to get stage points at the end of lap 45, maybe it's worth maybe making a run as we get closer to the end of that stage. Just to see how it's going to work, and kind of test that out for the end of the race, and B, obviously points with the tight championship we had last season. Points are going to be at a premium, so if you can manage to grab a handful of points here at the end of the first stage, that's just going to pay benefits later on this year.
Well, for example, in the last season, it was of course a big factor throughout the year, getting those points at the stage. Was it at the stage where Brian Nash secured the title at Daytona here a few weeks ago? I think it was. He nearly got it, didn't he? It didn't quite happen in the end. It was all but secure by that point. It didn't quite mathematically do it, but it shows you on that evening, especially, it can settle the entire season if you go well enough. As Caleb Hunt goes over the line here to begin lap number 2 in car 78. Bringing back that 2017 championship winning livery. I think that is, anyway. I can't tell the subtle differences between the years in those times, I'm sorry. But it won the championship one year, so there you go. He'll be hoping that's a good luck charm for him this season as he heads out towards turn 3. Although I do seem to remember that year in this car losing out on the Daytona 500 by about a thousandth of a second. So maybe that's not such a good omen for tonight. Anyway, the opening round.
Yeah, maybe not. Everybody, I'm sure a lot of these guys are just putting liveries on for some of their favorite drivers. I think there were several drivers that ran the Bass Pro Shop livery. Martin Truex is one that comes to my mind more than anything else. But Bass Pro Shop's a big sponsor in the NASCAR series, and they've been on lots of different cars there. And Cable Hunt with a good lap. Let's see where he ended up. P23. So lap done and over. He'll get on the starting block, and we'll of course be watching as Josh Parent sitting on pole there, and that's we saw Josh have some spurts of brilliance last season, so no surprise that he's up there at the top of the board.
Only took one pole though throughout the entirety of the season. He did have a great season, won 4 races, but he only got pole on one occasion, and he was so good throughout last season with Josh Parent. A little bit hit or miss. I mean, wasn't here for a lot of it. Won 4 races, podiumed in 7, but also only top 10'd in 7. So, i.e., anytime he was in the top 10, he was also on the podium, and on 4 of those 7, he was winning on the podium. So, a little bit hit or miss, but nevertheless, still absolutely fantastic in terms of the season. Just the only problem for Parent, really, and I doubt there was much he could have done about this, he just wasn't at enough rounds to beat the likes of Brian Nash and Zach Tyndall, who was in second place that season, by the way. That was the only problem for Parent, really, just his attendance, and there's not much he can do about that. So I think he can still take a lot from last season.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Once again, was dominant in some of the races. As you said, it's kind of boomer bust, where he got either top tens or DNFs or didn't show up. And yeah, that's part of it is this is a hobby for a lot of people, even though you're in here and running a league. Family and work often get in the way, and that's what you have to take care of first and foremost. And then if you have the ability to come in and run the race, you come in and run the race and do the best you can. And he did, obviously, as you said, winning 4 races last season. So we'll see how he does this year and see what. We talked about Luc Gauthier as a reserve driver in one of the teams that kind of indicates that he might not make a lot of the races, and that kind of makes sense. Is you don't want to have a team or depending on you if you know that you're not going to be here for quite a bit of the time.
Let's have a look then through the starting grid, ready for the first race of this Action Roofing Cup Series here this season. It's Josh Parent and Cameron Saro who will share the front row. Saro on pole for a long time there before Josh Parent took the pole position away from him. Joe Nordine is back to the series this season, starts from third in front of Sam Stramati, who set pretty much the last lap time of that session to move on to row 2. That pushes Jay English and Mark Dingman down onto row 3 for the start of this season. Row 4 is Luc Gauthier, who ended up last season just losing a place on the final day to 5th in the points. Austin Stamper starts alongside on row 4. Jason Reeves and Daniel Nogue, who had a brilliant end to last season, rounding out the top 10. It's 11th place for Zach Tyndall, who was the runner-up last season in the points. 2nd place to Brian Nash, and alongside him, Michael Dadamo on row 6. Row 7 will be Logan Uka ahead of Braxton Merrifield, who's on that siblings team, as I was talking about earlier on. Brian Nash, the champion of last season, starts from 15th position with Trevor Thomas and a fellow Ford alongside on row 8. Nathan Merrifield is then in 17th in front of Christopher Hurt, who shares row 9. Running out the top 20, 19th place for James Tate, the second of our Canadians, and Tyler Miller, who rounds out that top 20 in the 18. It is Caleb Ross, who is then 21st. It actually went well in practice, but not so much in qualifying. Jesse James alongside on row 11. Row 12 is Steve Cunningham. And Caleb Hunt, as we saw his late lap time there, getting him into 24th position when all was said and done. Cody Johnson got into 25th in front of Sean Lester. And the final completed row of drivers who set times is Ronnie Clark and Austin Gosnell on row 14. The final place on the grid's been taken up by Dylan Jackson, who elected not to qualify, but he might not race, actually. He was there. He just disappeared in the background, and he's gone again. Hopefully he can at least start from the pit lane here tonight. 100 laps for us in the Standing Stone Pools and Patios 250. It's going to be an exciting start to this season here, Charles. A full field, pretty much, of anticipating drivers getting towards the green flag for the start of a new season. You can't beat it.
No, you absolutely can. Everybody's got all their hopes and aspirations are right there in front of them, and we'll find out how many of them survive this 100-lap event here as we get this ready to roll here. 100 laps tonight. It's going to be a barn burner. We're going to get to see some, hopefully, some really good two-wide racing here.
Some long runs potentially as well. 37 laps on fuel in the first. In the draft, I should say, and that means that pit stops will need to be made in both stages of this race if we go green for long enough to require that. We'll wait and see how these Gen 6 cars begin to work with one another in the draft. It's been quite a few years since these cars were actually used as the Cup Series generation. It feels like it wasn't that long ago, but actually when you look back at the years, you think, wow, that was quite a while ago. So we're coming back after a while away. First time we've had Cup cars in the I2I Motorsports. It's been O'Reilly's and trucks before now. There it is, the Standing Stone Pools and Patios 250 here at Daytona International Speedway. 100 laps to begin this season. A new I2I Motorsports season. It's the Action Roofing Cup Series set to get underway with 250 miles at Daytona.
Yeah, here we go as these cars take their time and build up speed. Pretty much nose to tail, no real movement here. And I kind of foresee this might be the next few laps is 2 single file lines just working their way around trying to find some purchase. We got a caution already, unfortunately. What we got going on here?
We've got Steve Cunningham, who is the most affected. We've also got Sean Lester, Cody Johnson, Austin Gosner, who are off the back of the field. I don't know whether that means anything. Let's see what happened here. The 86 turned, and clearly Steve Cunningham was trying to take it cautiously, as you were suggesting, through the triangle there, getting us underway nice and slowly at the start of a new season. But the others behind didn't quite have the same idea. So Cunningham goes around, but no major harm done, I would say, from that first caution.
No, Lewis' car looks pretty clean, as Michael told us a little bit earlier, that these cars can take quite a bit of a beating. He says that normally when you get to a point to where the car needs to come in for mandatory repairs, it's only like 25 to 30 seconds of mandatory and about 1 minute of optionals, he said, is when you start breaking those toe links off and you start getting wheel and suspension damage, that it starts turning into minutes before you can get back out on the track. So these cars are able to take a bump here and there and be just fine and still run pretty close to their max pace.
Doesn't that make it interesting, though, for the fast repairs here in this race? Because we've got one for pretty much the only time this season, unless the rules are going to be tweaked further down the line again. We don't know. But in terms of tonight, as of tonight, we know that this is the only round to have a fast repair. You mentioned there that it could be even a meatball could be a short mandatory followed by a minute maybe of optionals. With 2 pit stops, trying to you might be able to do that without actually losing a lap at all if you make those repairs under caution. So it just makes things interesting with regards to that fast repair, because if you can hold on to that fast repair until late on in the day, we could see quite a lot of contenders with some pretty clean race cars for quite a long time in this race if that indeed turns out to be the case.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think that if you can get that, meatball cleared from an incident in 30 seconds, you can definitely stay on the lead lap. You just got to troll around for a lap or two and maybe make a couple of pit stops. But obviously, with the fuel situation as it is, we're going to have to come in and make stops anyway. So it's definitely something that we might see a lot of the cars at the end of this race still running on that lead lap, still with opportunity to get some really good points here tonight, and I'm all for it. I think this was a one-off though, as far as the fast repair, just because we don't have anybody in race control, and it just felt like to give the drivers the benefit of the doubt that we'll let the iRacing handle the cautions with the exception of the stage, and then should anything arise, then we can let these drivers get back in the race and continue on. And I don't foresee that being the norm. I think this is just a one-off due to the circumstances today.
Yeah, I think so. We don't know if this is going to happen again further down the season or whatever. So just leaving the option open there in case.
Yeah, for sure.
There's going to be it's going to be one of those, but you'd expect there not to be over the course of the day. Well, first caution of the season has come very early indeed. It didn't really even get towards turn 1 there before we got this season properly underway, to be honest. So this is the end of lap 3. I presume at the end of this one they're going to go 2 by 2 and then get set for the one after this next one for us to go green. But almost nothing has changed really from the start to where we are now. I mean, in the top 14, every single driver on the outside beat the guy on the inside, which is a bit weird on the first 7 rows, and then there's no more changes until you get down to outside the top 22 where the incident actually took place. So I mean, sometimes when we say nothing has changed, I mean we're exaggerating. On this occasion, we're not really. Really, nothing has changed from where they are. Everybody inside the top 22 is starting alongside the guy they started the race alongside. Even if they are, some of them, on a different side of the grid, really not a lot has changed here from this first very, very short run.
Yep, absolutely, and that was one of the things he said was we should expect the outside line to be pretty strong tonight. So not really surprising, but now that those guys that were on the outside are now down on the inside, so we'll get that switch one more time. We'll say that Dylan Jackson did actually make it out on the track, and he, I believe, just got his lap back, so he was a lap down. He'll get that back. He'll be the last car on the field. 29 cars on the lead lap as we get ready to restart this race.
Yeah, indeed. Even Dylan Jackson, who got out onto the racetrack later than everybody else after having some trouble, is back on the lead now. See, they're racing his way round to get to the back of the pack in time. It's going to be a little bit of a dash for him to do that. But he's going at full speed to try and catch up to the pack in time for the... and you can get that weird thing where you actually get a monster run on the field as well from doing this. But I'm not sure he's going to quite have time to manage that, actually.
This could be close.
The guys make their way towards turn 3. It's a big gap that he has to close, but there they are now, just in front of him. So he's going to catch up to the back of the field and, A, make sure you don't smash into the back of everybody, and B, try and make sure you get a little bit of a run on the others as well, which would be nice. But good to see that he is back in the pack as well. So all 29 who started here are so far undamaged and unchanged from this opening moment of the race. Didn't really get a bit of a false start, I think it's fair to say, here at Daytona for the opening round of the season. Let's hope that we can get this race going, and maybe that's a bit of a wake-up call, especially to those down in the back, to pay attention to what's going on in front of them as we get into the DesertDiecast.com restart zone for the very first time this season. We are green flag racing again at Daytona.
And here we go as we wind them up one more time. Dylan Jackson did get to the back of the grid, so he will be at the back of the field. So all 29 cars out there pretty much nose to tail as the speed starts to build up, and we'll start seeing the draft kick in, and these lap times will start dropping down. He's just got a little bit of a gap there on the outside as Parent's got a pretty good run, but not really a lot of support behind him as of yet.
Here they come, though. It's Dingman leading the line on the outside there, and as you say, that lack of support is now starting to show as Cameron Sara gets clearly in front and indeed is now clear on his own. Sam Stramati now getting his nose up into second place, but you can see the knock-on effects last for ages because Parent didn't have any help ages ago. Now he does, but he's still feeling the effects. Now he's starting to come back again, just as he'd slipped back to fourth place there briefly.
Yeah, the outside line took a little bit longer to, a little disjointed out there, so it took a little bit longer to wind up, but it does look like that's starting to move forward a little bit as more and more cars get to the back of that line. These will equalize out, and we'll start seeing that outside line moving forward.
Yeah, they're not making much headway so far, but let's see if they get some organisation here. The inside line might want to just jump up somebody from the inside, and this top 5 might just want to jump up, and Austin Stamper's showing a bit of half interest in doing that. Now he does move up properly. Daniel Nogue, though, is and actually Parent just takes the opportunity to come down. Nogue goes to the inside of Stamper, who's now got no help, and he's going to go outside the top 5. So maybe a lesson there not to be so ambitious for Stamper. So early on, he's on the outside line there, very much on his own, waiting for the others to catch up to him.
Yeah, absolutely. As when you're up at toward the front of this, you're doing a lot of mirror driving, as it is, and you're watching the other line to see if they get a run, to see if you've got the opportunity to move up, because obviously, when you're on the bottom, you're basically stuck on the bottom unless you've got some free track up high, and there's really nowhere much for you to go, and it's really too early to start kind of trying to root people out from the bottom. At this point, so we'll see as the outside line is really not doing a lot and losing a little bit more ground. You see the 8 actually going back down to the bottom now, so Stamper's going to move back down to the bottom row, and we'll see if Dingman, I think now is leading the 60 car, so we'll see if he's going to be able to lead this group back up toward the front.
And this outside line looking hopeless at the moment. The top 9 are all on the low side now, and no one showing any signs of moving. Now Brian Nash is looking to make that 10 in the 73. Look at the start that he's made, up from 15th in qualifying, although there's the danger. The concertina effect right the way down the train. That's why you wonder why. Well, it's obvious the inside line's faster. Why wouldn't you go down there? There's the danger of being on the inside line there. We've just shown to us in real time there. Merrifield almost having to stand on the brakes there to avoid the guy in front of him.
Yep, as you see now, the 60 is starting to get a little purchase out there on the outside. He's moved up a couple of positions, now a couple more, as he's even now with Parent running in P7. So now Demon up to 6. So 6 cars or so in front of him as we work our way around working lap number 9. So it's going to be a bit of a long race here tonight, but outside line is now starting to work a little bit.
Yeah, oh, and there's the first jump from Jay English as well, wanting a piece of it. And that seems to be often the loss in momentum when somebody jumps up to the outside there from the low side, almost blocking it, seems to completely take the wind out the group, and you can see the inside line getting a bit more joy as they come through the triangle again. See on board here with Reeves looking down at Dadamo and gets past Gauthier. Someone in the wall up there on the outside line here. So yeah, again, the momentum just taken out of this outside groove when somebody comes up here. Jay English has lost a place in moving up here.
Yeah, has indeed. Now it looks like it's starting to build just a little bit more there. You can see the sparks flying off these cars. They're just basically just bouncing off the track as they work their way down. You see it there in the 24. That front splitter is just digging into the ever so slightly into the track surface there. As they've got these cars trimmed out for maximum pace, running on this big tri-oval here. And just trying to get as much speed possible as they can. I think we'll have to watch out maybe for some overheating issues. Don't know how much tape these guys are running on the front, but that might creep up. I did see track temp was already 108, I think, in our last caution. So the temperature outside now up to 111. So that's gonna really put a hamper to on these bump drafts. As you close that nose off to the air coming by, then just makes that car overheat very, very quickly. So that'll be something we'll watch out for. As we see the 8 move back up, I think maybe a car swapping lanes a little bit further up as well. But you can see starting to get a little dicey here. We're only at lap 12, and it's just not really sure we're ready for that type of racing just yet.
It's Jay English coming from the top side there, back to the low side, cutting his losses really, because he hasn't really made anything from going up there. And he's decided to cut his losses and stay on the inside there. He's back to 6th now. He was 4th. So he's lost 2 places in that experiment, and that has only taken more momentum out of this outside group, which is going nowhere. I mean, 3 wide as well. First 3 wide moment of the season. And it's in the mid-pack here. Luckily, there's not that many guys around them, so they might get away with this. But it's the first 3 wide moment of the season coming through 3 and 4, and we get away with it. The guys outside the top 10 are completely uninterested in whatever this is at the front of the field.
Yeah, I don't blame them at all. Is maybe a car. Normally, if you see a car in the middle like that, that means that maybe had a little bit of a moment where I had to make an adjustment, check up a little bit, and the car behind had no choice but to run hot to avoid an incident. So might have been something we saw just then there. As I'm kind of shocked as we see the cars up on the high side floating a little bit. Kind of shocked that there's not more drivers out there on the outside line. But I guess old habits die hard. Is when you're used to running these cars, as always running the bottom. But it's I think there's some drivers out there that are going to be willing to run the high line. But I think they're going to wait to see how it's going to work with a smaller stack, as we do the 36 up against the wall just slightly there, as that was the 36 car and of Dynamo just scraping the wall ever so slightly, able to hang on to it and keep rolling there as back in behind Parent, and as starting to give him a little bit of a bump.
Indeed. It's thankfully nothing really come of that big 3 wide moment, which could have had real disastrous consequences. In the end, nothing really, as we complete 14 laps tonight, 31 laps away from the end of the first stage here. And I'm mentioning that because a fuel run in the draft here is 37 laps. Any caution from here until that, until the green flag pit stops, really, if there are any. They will see pit stops all round, but I'm going to make a prediction that we don't get to see these green flag pit stops in the first stage, because they're coming up on lap traffic. Now, there are 6 drivers out of the back of this train completely. First of all, there's Steve Cunningham, Sean Lester and Austin Gosner, who've worked together since getting lopped off the back, and they've limited their losses quite well. They're only 6 seconds off the back of the train. They're not catching, but they're not losing that much time. So they're fine, although they could be doing that a bit more efficiently. They're not losing that much time. Dylan Jackson and Ronnie Clark are limiting their losses a bit as well. They're running on their own, 27th, 28th. But Jesse James is completely on his own, 42 seconds off the front of the race already, and is not that far away from being lapped. Now, where do you go as a lap car here? What do you do? Whatever you do, it's very difficult for the entire main pack to pass you without there being some trouble. So watch out for this in the next couple of laps as they pass the first bit of lap traffic this season.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if maybe there's been some driver notes passed along for incidents like this. That hey, if you're on the back and you're getting ready to be lapped, run high or run low. But just to let that way everybody knows what to expect. This is not one of those that where you can kind of just pull off down to the apron or something like that. It's just very, very dangerous, especially if they catch you through one of these banked corners. There's just really not much you can do. So hopefully there's a plan in place, and this is going to get executed well. But yeah, it's a little tricky here as this two wide group comes up and you see him dropping down to the bottom. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to roll out of the throttle, stay down below the yellow line, and the group's going to go by. And I think that was about as good as you could make it. Stay down there. Tried to carry as much speed as he could, but obviously you can see the car just kind of drifting up, and if he'd caught that apron change over there, that change of angles, it would have been a very bad day for a few of those cars.
Yeah, I think that means he's actually lost the draft again. So,
yeah.
So he's not actually caught the draft with everybody else as he should have done there, which is a little bit annoying for him. But there you are. We'll see. No, he's well off the back. He's going to try and get in with Cunningham, Lester and Gosnell, I think, which is probably for the best. Now, it's getting close for the lead here. We've been thinking about whether there is going to be a caution or not for that traffic. Look at the aggression we're starting to see out front now. Cameron Sorrow leads, but the outside is getting somewhere. Josh Parent leading the line. It just needs someone at the head of it, and indeed the pusher as well. They need to be on the same hymn sheet, and they need to be fast. And Josh Parent is about to lead the first lap from the outside, I believe it is. That was very close. I'm not sure he led that or not, but he's getting super close now to being the first leader from the outside line.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that outside line starting to ramp up a bit? Even though there's not that many cars out there, they're doing a really good job of working together. And you saw Dadamo back there giving Parent the push to even him up with the 29 on the inside. And just going back, because we had that early caution flag, I think lap 40 probably is where we're going to see green flag stops if we make it that far.
Indeed, yes. You'd expect with that caution that some of the guys might be able to go towards that 40 if they were trying, but maybe they're not so much. I mean, this front group is really diminishing in size now. Look at that, that big group back there that are off the back. This leaves just 16 at the front of the race, and there's quite a large group back there that have been caught off the back, and I wonder whether these guys have just decided that they don't even want to bother with these stage points. It probably not going to... Oh, and there's trouble! Whoa, that was a big save from the 78 of Hunt. The outside line is going to be going nowhere now. Parent managed to get to the lead, and he's gone down low again, which I guess says it all. And some of the others are really trying to get themselves back down to the bottom now. But some of the guys behind have just decided they don't want any part of this. They know that there's going to be a caution lap 45, if not sooner. And so they know they're not going to go a lap down. They're focused on the end of the race, and they don't want to be involved in this at the front of the field. Yeah,
absolutely. Is content to just kind of ride around for a while. Get to that. They'll get caught back up at the end of the stage. Probably, I don't think they're going to go a lap down at this point. We're halfway there now. So I think we're going to be okay as we see pretty much everybody abandoning that outside line for the time being, is content to just run down single file. Do see a couple of holdovers out there. Dadamo, that Budweiser car, I believe that's the 24 of English as well, kind of working both lanes, see what can happen. Stamper as well up at the top, but most pretty much everybody decided we're going to run the low line for a while, just run nose to tail, and of course obviously that gives them the opportunity to kind of work that high line to just avoid trouble as these checkups happen with the majority of the front group running on the bottom.
It's remarkable how just in a couple of laps this front group can completely change. It looked like it had finally broken the sort of the rhythm here of the low line being the best line, and it was maybe more even when Josh Parent was leading that outside line, but actually as soon as he got out that outside line, it also was going nowhere, and there's only two of them in it now. Austin Stamper in the 8 is being pushed by somebody on the outside. I think it's Luke Gauthier. who is the other one on the outside. And they're the only two who are even attempting something. I wonder whether this is going to be a single file that lasts for some time. We'll wait and see if anybody gets restless, but there is the progression of the day for Josh Parent. He started right towards the front on the pole, initially dropped back on the start because he lost the lead, and then there was a caution, and then on the outside line slipped back initially, but now he's worked his way back to the front again, and he's leading laps again.
Yep, as just doing a good job of took what he could get, made it work for him, back up to the front, leading the race. But obviously a whole host of cars there behind as we see the 78 pop up to the top side there. Maybe a little bit of a run there that got caught up and had to just kind of abort for the time being. But that's going to put him on the outside, but it looks like he's going to be able to drop back down. Some cars coming into pits.
That's a bit... Well, it's halfway in the stage, I suppose, but yeah, you're right. I didn't think that was going to be possible. Austin Stamper, Christopher Hurt, James Tate, Trevor Thomas, all in pit lane. First green flag pit stops of the season, and indeed there's the four of them all together. Now, I'll try and cross-reference all this, but I'm thinking about teams here.
Yep.
And wondering whether they're all on the same team and have decided to... They are all on the same team, aren't they?
Yeah, Chris Hart, James Tate, also
well, some of them are.
So that's Firehouse Racing. So there's at least a couple of those.
Exactly. Sramati and Gothia haven't come from Firehouse, but the other three have. Now, Christopher Hurt might have sped. I was about to say, what's he doing? It might be for other reasons. Actually, it looks like he's sped on pit lane. So that looks like the end of that. But the problem for them is that only James Tate and Austin Stamper are together. Trevor Thomas is not with them. I guess he's not on their team, but so they're not really bothered. But they're the only two together, and I think two is a bit too small of a group, really. And, well, maybe they're going to catch up with some lap cars. You can see here, I mean, there's all sorts of groups now, but it does feel like those groups are a bit too small, really.
Yeah, I think so. Four-car group probably is probably not going to be enough to sustain it. Now down to three, as Her is going to be by himself. That's going to be a bad day for him. So he's probably going to end up going a lap down before the end of the stage. So he'll obviously, once we get the caution, he'll get the wave around and be able to get back to the lead lap. But in the meantime, you got to hope that nobody else goes a lap down is in front of you. Obviously, you'll lose the opportunity to get that lucky dog. So you got to be thinking and kind of watching the scoreboard as well as you're out there trying to drive.
There's so many things to watch at Daytona when there's green flag pit stop. I love nothing more than a Superspeedway race that has green flag pit stops in it, to be honest with you. It's fantastic to watch. I know it's very hard to follow and it's quite fractured, but it's very entertaining. Some of the others, in fact a lot of the others, most of the others have decided that this is the time to react. There's a big lock-up in the background. Oh, well stopped. I'm not sure who that was, but somebody stopped that very well, locking it all up. The 82 of Braxton Merrifield did not get the memo. He was the only one of that front group not to come down with the rest of them. Careful getting into your box. There's people steaming in from all kinds of angles here. Now, who is going to get out with the others? Because that is so important at Daytona. You cannot be on your own. I would advise them to take only 2 tyres rather than 4, because otherwise you might miss the boat. Joe Nordine is going to lead them out, I think, just behind Josh Parent. Then it's going to be Jay English, then Sam Stramati, Caleb Hunt, Nathan Merrifield, Cameron Sorrow, Luke Gauthier, and Daniel Noak. They've actually done a pretty good job of all staying together here. Ooh. Jason Reeves maybe starting to get a little bit too far behind Brian Nash as well, as the others from the lead now start to come in as well in response.
Yeah, I saw that 30 just really lock it down and just managed to get in there. Dylan Jackson managed to get that car stopped just when he needed to. I'm really shocked that we're having stops this early, kind of the midpoint of the first stage. Just it's a little bit odd that we've had everybody come down on pit road here at this point of the race. I was kind of figuring that we're just going to run it out and just be done with it. But yeah, it looks like I think most took 2 tires. There's probably a few that took no tires. You can run. You probably could run the entire 100 laps on a set of tires and probably be okay. But tires are not going to be that big of an issue tonight.
No, they do get 4 sets, but as you say, they won't all be used. So the leader is Josh Parent. I'm trying to work out really where this is all going to pan out. So Parent's actually on his own. So he's going to get caught, even though he's leading at the moment. Merrifield hasn't been caught yet, though. This might have been a masterstroke from Braxton Merrifield going on his own. I thought he was absolutely doomed. But no, he might have made a genius call here. Josh Parent's now in his draft, though, and so he's going to get and drag back, and maybe he's going to go right to the back, because Parent's going to go past him. And look at Joe Nordine leading the next pack of drivers as well. So this is the big group, really. This is the big selection. And it's 10 drivers. So what was it before? About 16 or so?
Yep.
It looks like we've lost about 5 or 6 from this group. You can see in the background the sort of 1s and 2s in the background. Those were guys who were meant to be here, but they didn't get their pit stop quite right, and they've missed the boat here.
Yeah, Merrifield he got the benefit of Josh Parent coming up behind him by himself. Was able to get that boost from the draft up in the front, and that helped him, because if they come up on him with that group and him alone, they probably just were blew right by him. So I think he got very lucky there that Parent was out there by himself, and that allowed him to pick up a little more pace and able to stay in front here. But obviously leading the race now, so great call by Merrifield. So running up front, he's got Parent running on the outside there on that top line. But once again, looks like the low line's doing the work, as the top line just not able to get enough of a group up there to kind of balance it out.
Yeah, this is the most even I think we've seen it. But again, Josh Parent seems so integral to the top side of the group. Whenever he's not leading it or not second, it seems pretty hopeless on the outside. Even here, though, it's looking a little bit difficult. Merrifield getting a good push from Nordine here, Joe Nordine. And Sam Stramati, that's 3 pretty quick drivers, but Nordine goes to the top side. He doesn't want to push anymore. He wants to take the race lead, and he goes up to get pushed by Parent now. He's got the momentum, and what a move. He just switches up there to the high side to get past and clear of the 82. As soon as he does that, he switches straight down low again and just takes this race lead on the low side. That was almost as if he'd picked up his own car, like a giant had picked up his own car and just put his own one in front of somebody else's. He put his car exactly where he wanted it there in the most remarkable way. That was extraordinary.
Yeah, very well timed by the 75. Jumped up to the high side, got the bump from Parent, and pushed him right past the 82. Drops right back down, leaves the high side by themselves once again, and takes over the race lead. Very, very great, good bit of driving there from Nordine up front. As once again, it's kind of a 6-4 split here, but the high line has got a little more pace in it this time, so they are starting to pick it up a little bit.
Yeah, and this is basically because they had a sort of a dead even start, if you like, a dead even rolling start after the pit stops. Now, does Parent abandon them immediately? He does. Nog almost followed him like a sheep, but thankfully realised just in time that Joe Nordine was still indeed alongside him. Now, with only 3 on the outside and no Josh Parent leading it, how does this outside line go? Because I think, is there some dangerous pushing going on there? Nordine aggressively, and the caution, not for anything in this front group. But we do have our second caution of the night, and Jesse James is off the road at the moment. I'm not entirely sure if that is related or not. It may well be. It's in another one of the groups further down where there's been a first sort of semi-big wreck of the season, really.
Yeah, I think that was a push gone awry there. Well, no, actually, I take that back. He just rode up the track into the wall and couldn't get it gathered back up. The 11 had nowhere to go and sent him around. So that is bad luck there for Jesse James there. And you see the car just in behind the 60 just kind of rode up the tracks. I don't know if maybe that was a little bit of an understeer condition there as he got in line and just wasn't expecting that action to happen. But obviously, the 2 cars behind suffered as much as the 55 car did there. And there's I think that'll be our first fast repair taker here tonight, as the 55 has got some serious damage at the front. Yeah,
I think so. I have noticed that, I must say, a couple of times in the groups, not the leaders, but if you're back in the pack, I've noticed these cars getting very tight if you're running behind somebody else and running very close to the wall indeed as well. That's exactly what happened to James there, just running out into the outside wall and spinning down low and getting caught up with the others. But Just shows you we don't need big groups to have accidents here at Daytona. It can just as well happen in these smaller ones, but we are going to get a big group again now going to the end. When we go back green again, there will probably be 12 to go until the end of the stage. So what's that, less than 10 minutes? That's a real dash for the points at the end of this first stage.
Yeah, absolutely. As we get wound back up here, it's going to be a 10-lap shootout here to get to the end of the stage. And it's going to be, we'll see if now that we got the cars evened out a little bit, and now all the cars that were off that lead pack are now going to be back to the end of it again. We'll see if anybody now says, hey, you know what, I'm back up here where I can maybe contend, and we'll see if I can work my way to the front. So this might be a little spicy here when we get this thing going.
It certainly will be. There's going to be a split, I think, in drivers who are very interested in going for these points and who are very not interested in going for these points, as getting the free pass there, Christopher Hurd. So there'll be 25 on the lead lap, and the other 4 of the 29 in this race will be off of that lead lap. Just a few pit stops as well towards the tail end of the lead lap here for Michael D'Adamo, Mark Dingman, Steve Cunningham, Sean Lester and Tyler Miller. Wonder whether they're pitting here so they won't at the stage caution. That's always something you see sort of towards the end of the stage. You see people. It's I guess you could say it's a drawback or a good thing about the stage caution. You know when it's going to be, so you can make tactical choices based on that. Whereas, see, normally you don't know when cautions are going to be because because of what happens in the race. But those guys might well just drop off the back of this group. Now they're already at the back because they've just stopped. Just drop off the back of the group, make sure they avoid any crashes if there are to be any, and get to the end of this first stage. Don't pit when everybody else does, and soon they could very much be in the lead on the restart with about 50 laps to go.
Yep, absolutely. As I think that's obviously the gamble is if you stop now and get your fuel, you don't have to stop during the stage break. But however, you're kind of gambling that there's going to be a caution before you get to that next set of pit stops. And that's going to be the key. If you get the caution flag and you're not involved in it, then you've won your bet. If you don't, then that means that group that came in is going to come in again by themselves, and that's going to put them kind of behind the 8 ball.
It is. You can't deny it's interesting. That's for sure. Stage racing, stage cautions, all that sort of thing. So say 25 will be on the lead lap here. Where did that? Oh yeah, Christopher Hurd did indeed get. I don't know why Tyler Miller's stop took so long. Maybe he's done some damage repair himself. Was he one who piled straight into Jesse James there, Tyler Miller, or was that somebody else? I mean, I can't remember. But his pit stop time there of 1:20 suggests someone trying to do the old damage repair without using your fast repair. It seems that Jesse James is, as you correctly predicted, it seems just gone on and used his fast repair because his car was pretty damaged.
Several minutes worth of damage is going to have to be repaired. But yeah, it's kind of what it looks like is somebody came in and just tried to work the damage off. And I think, with Tyler Miller with 1:22 in the pits, I think that's plenty because obviously we're talking about 2 minutes, 7 laps here under caution. So plenty of time to get in and get back out and circle back around, catch back to the end of the field. So, it's here we go as we're coming back up to the green flag, I believe. I think saw the safety car lights off. They are indeed, so we'll get ready to restart here in just a second.
Yeah, we'll be back underway with no more than about 12 laps, I think, to go in the first stage of the season in the Action Roofing Cup Series. So, normal stage points applying, top 10 with 10 for first and 1 for 10th. You can do the maths in between. It's the normal points, and then obviously heading towards the end of the race as well. The normal points as they all search for the top 12 in this regular season of the Action Roofing Cup Series this season. So into the DesertDiecast.com restart zone, and we are for the second time after the longest green flag run by some distance in this race, going to be back underway at Daytona.
And here we go once again. If saw a car way down the apron there, like maybe somebody didn't get off the line in a timely manner there, and had to take a little bit of an evasive maneuver. black flag we're hearing for Joe Nordine. So I'm not really sure what that was. Was he in front of the leader at the start finish line? Which I don't know that would be a penalty, but here I am hearing. I did hear black flag. Oh nope, got the black flag cleared. I'm seeing on my timing and scoring. So everything should be good to go.
Yeah, that might be one of the quirks with these things. I think it might have been called for that, although I thought that only applied at the very start of the race, not on restarts. But there you are. Doesn't really matter. Joe Nordine is a long way back, considering he's leading the outside line here. He's 7th, which means the top 6 are all on that inside line completely without interruption. Here are the guys further back. You can see them already completely checked out. They're out of the draft. They do not care because there's 9 laps until the caution at very most. So they are not bothered about these stage points. Their game is for later at the end of 100 laps here.
Yeah, and just trying to think. I'm not sure if this is NASCAR or IndyCar, but it seems like that you can pass if you're on the outside. You can pass for position at the restart. I know it's a thing in IndyCar. I'm pretty sure it's in NASCAR as well, but I think it's only for you're passing on the outside. I don't think you can move to the inside and make a pass before the start-finish line.
Excuse me. I thought the NASCAR rule was only that you can't overlap the leader before the start of the race itself, but before a restart, it's fine. Yep. I thought, but maybe that's not the same.
Hey, that's the thing about iRacing. You got a rule set for every car that's out there, so it's hard to keep up with all of them all the time. So yeah, I'll have to research a little bit.
And sometimes, if you're not quite doing it as the cautions as iRacing likes you to, you can get black flags for all sorts of weird stuff. That's why we've got race control there to just clear those. Although we have got a limited race control tonight, of course, which means there's no manual cautions, as it were, but just the iRacing ones. We do have the ability to get rid of black flags that are unjust. So there you go. Nordine goes to the inside here. And he does get there. He does get on the inside of Parent, who'd gone up to the high side to block him. And weirdly, that had helped the outside along in its momentum. But Nordine now does go to the low side of him and takes the race lead here with 7 to go till the stage.
Yeah, another good move by Nordine. He looks pretty racy. Oh, that bumped a little off-centered there by Nogue running in right behind him. Got the car a little bit loose, but able to hang under control. But Nordine's had pretty good control of that car the entire night. As he's made some pretty deft moves up at the front of the field.
Merrifield's a good pusher in the 82. He's pushed Nordine to that position of leadership earlier. He's now pushed Parent back into the lead. So another lead change here. We're seeing quite a few of them in the last few moments. Josh Parent back to the front, but he stays loyal to Merrifield. Stays up high. Will he come to regret that, I wonder? No, his loyalty is rewarded. Now you see in the mirrors, Nordine going backwards on the inside. Look at the outside line going, and Merrifield's going for the lead now. Parent was completely unawares to that. I presume that because Parent had stayed with Merrifield, he thought, well, he's not going to dump me, but he does.
Yeah, he was doing a good job of pushing Parent up there, but all of a sudden it's like it just the run stopped and Parent came back a little bit more quickly than Merrifield thought, and now we got a car in the middle, and that's not going to work as the 77 slides down into the front. That's Gauthier to take the lead there on the inside with right in front of Merrifield. So obviously there are a few drivers out there that want to get up to the front for these stage points.
Yeah, indeed. At the moment in the front group, we have 17 drivers all fighting for 10 positions in the points. We might well see a few just check out in the final couple of laps, because actually if you run at the back of this group, you can actually gain quite a few places compared to those who are really, really off the back, i.e. the rest of the field. It's effectively split into half. Half of them who are interested in these stage points, and then the other half who are not. There's also 4 who are fighting for the free pass, by the way, back in that group as well. But we'll leave them to it while these guys fight for the 10 points. Luke Gauthier turning underneath. Just there's got the points at the moment, but Merrifield super loose. Somehow we get away with it with 4 to go.
Yeah, another really hard push there from the 22 and 75. Once again, great car control to hang on to that. Did see some contact down low, but looks like everybody is pretty much unaffected at this point. Now you got a good push there on the inside line from the 82.
Wow, that was a lucky moment there. Not only for Merrifield, but the entire field. Here's Nordin and Gauthier now side by side for lead, and Nordin's going to have this by the line.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of Gauthier come down. Or I'm sorry, Nordin come down, get a little bit of side draft off of the 77, and I think that helped the outside line a bit there as they were able to get back up. And 75 slides down again, leaves Parent hanging out to dry as he slides down to the front in front of the 77 to take the lead, and he's got a 2-car gap.
Jeez, that was close. Nordin was not... Oh, leave much to chance there. And Merrifield now goes to the outside. He's got a big run over the others. He's alongside Gauthier. Look at the run that they're all getting on the inside. Has Joe Nordin gone too high? No, he's still just about got there. These guys are cutting across when there is not much room to spare.
No, they're absolutely not. And another good move is you see the dicing going now. Is everybody trying to get in position here with 2 laps to go before the end of the stage? Everybody trying to get to that right spot where they want to be before we make this final run down to the green and white checkers here for the end of the stage.
Yep, 2 laps to go as it stands. Just about 4 miles now to the first points of the season in the Action Roofing Cup Series. It is the outside that has the momentum now. Merrifield being pushed by Parent, getting to the front, and they both come down in front of Nordin here. But Parent goes back to the high side. He wants this race lead back. Nordin might well go 3 wide. Oh, he backs out of that. Thank goodness. There was not quite the room for that.
No, there wasn't, and that was a very smart call by the 75. Is now the 20. The top group is now really starting to stretch out.
Look at this. It's Parent and Nash with 1 to go until the stage. The main 2, one of the big 2 anyway, as far as the championship of last season is concerned. They're up here again, and Brian Nash, the winner from last season, has been pretty much nowhere in these first 45 laps, but he's now challenging for the stage points. He goes to the inside of Parent. He can't get it done. Parent side drafts him and gets back ahead on the backstretch here. Here comes Reeves in the 20 as Parent goes to block down low. Nash is not going to be able to get anywhere here, but he's going to push Parent here in the 22. Josh Parent is red hot favourite to take this stage now on lap 45 of the Action Roofing Cup Series here from Daytona tonight. It looks like Parent's all the way to the line here. Nash is going to pull to the outside, tries to after him. He's into contact. He's going to go into the middle of the field here. Merrifield in the middle of the field. There's a big one as the stage ends here on lap 45.
Wow, it was crazy there as you could just see Nash looking around, trying to find a way to get to the front, tried to look to the inside, to the middle again, and nothing there. Comes back down, and that hole had already closed up. Merrifield, just the innocent victim, I believe, the way I'm reading it is, and then the 82 around, and several cars involved in that as we end the stage here with a natural caution more than a stage caution. As now we're going to get, we'll start seeing drivers come in. The drivers that came in earlier or should be okay, but now we've got some drivers who are going to have to come in and get some repair work done. Yeah,
indeed. There's cars all over the place, by the way. Parent is already at turn 1 again because he's trying to catch up to the pace car. These guys are barely at turn 3 and they're limping, really. And the pits are going to open very soon. So they've got to get on with this, these guys. Whoever's slowing these guys down, some of these will be completely able to just carry on, and they'll be screaming at the others to get on with it. Because I say that there's cars absolutely everywhere. I would say that nearly 10 guys were involved in that going towards the stage there, and you'd say a lot of them are going to have to use their fast repair with more than half the race left.
Yep, absolutely, and that's going to make for some interesting strategy that they're going to have to employ as we're trying to get everybody gathered back up. As once you've used this fast repair, you have to be a little more careful. You can't make some of those moves like you did earlier, and we have another big one at the front that you get involved in. I mean, it's pretty much race over. So I think cooler heads will prevail here now that we've got our caution. People can go in and get their fast repairs done. We'll settle back down because we know we've got a pretty long run here for this second stage.
Well, the pit stops are starting here at the front, by the way. Even though these guys haven't even nearly caught up, the pit lane is open, so they've got to get on with it here. They really do have to get on with it. My goodness, they're miles behind. Zach Tyndall is the one at the front, by the way, the guilty party. Look at the guys in the background here who've got no damage. They're absolutely livid with these guys. Get on with it, please. We've got places to be. Who's going to stay out then? Christopher Herr stays out so far. He's the only one. But I mean, they're so far back that even the pit stops under caution are going to have been completed before they get round again. What are they going so slowly for? I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think iRacing will be... I mean, there'll be so many different messages happening here. iRacing will be screaming at them to do about 7 different things. And it's just a nightmare. I've seen all sorts in these types of cautions. Anyway, Christopher Herr's the only one who stays out. So it seems those guys who pitted under the second caution actually didn't really intend to stay out and take the lead anyway. It's mostly the same names up towards the front again.
Yeah, I kind of was thinking the same thing as I was kind of looking at the cars coming in. It looks like pretty much everybody came down. I think maybe Christopher Herr, as you said, the only car has only stopped one time, and I think he said, I'm going to stay out. I've got some track position now. He's going to be in probably second place, so he'll be outside of front row when we restart as Daniel Nogue is back out. Had a good pit stop. He's up now into P2, or I should say will be P1 once Caleb Hunt, we get back around, and Caleb Hunt is overlapped as he is in the pits now getting his repair work and servicing done. So, very interesting end to the end of the first stage. I have no idea, with the exception of maybe Josh Parent getting the maximum points, who else finished in the top 10. So I'd love to be able to tell you what that is, but I have no idea. Josh Parent was in the lead at the end of the first stage, so he got maximum bonus points, and everybody else will have to wait and see.
But also you have the discrepancy of actually, normally the caution for the stage comes out when the 10th car comes across the line to finish the stage. But if the caution, a regular one, is thrown before that, then the points are taken from that moment, surely. So that gets even weirder. So we're not even going to attempt to work out who was where other than Parent in the lead, because you're right, I've got no idea either what was going on behind that. Other than it's a big old mess, so we'll leave them in race control to work that out after the race. What I can tell you is the amount of cars on the lead lap, and that is now 24. We may have lost Caleb Ross, certainly from big contention in this race after more than 4 minutes in pit lane so far. Maybe he's going to be out of the race completely. As I say, 24 on the lead lap here. The next 4 are only one lap. The next 3 are only one lap down. Dylan Jackson's 2 down somehow at this stage in the race, but that's still a lot of cars on the lead lap here with 50 laps to go.
It really is. The vast majority of the field still on the lead lap is kind of, with the exception of, with a fast repair, that's kind of what you expect. I think that's been tonight's saving grace is, if we didn't have that, then we have about, 12 or 13 cars left contending for this race victory, and probably not what we want to see. So I think that was a good benefit for these drivers to have that available tonight, as some took and some didn't. Some figured out a way to get their repair work done naturally, which is always a good thing. It's always good to have that, have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Absolutely. So 51 laps to go indeed. We're not quite at the halfway mark, but we're almost there in the standing zone. Pools and Patios 250 here tonight. The opening round of the Action Roofing Cup Series this season. A 24-week calendar running all the way to the end of January after a 6-week playoffs involving the top 12. That all feels like a long way away at the moment. Tonight it's just about winning at Daytona into the DesertDiecast.com restart zone, and we're back underway in the final stage.
Yeah, here we go. Just taking a look down, Sean Lester, our hard charger, tonight up into P10, 16 positions ahead of his starting spot. So having a good run. James Tate's up 10, and Austin Gosnell up 11. So we've got a few cars that have done pretty good work tonight to maximize their pace and make up some spots here, as it's already starting to get racy up there with the 63 and the 75 duking it out.
But also already, look at the split in the field again. We've got a top 15 this time running away, and the rest of them still uninterested in staying in this group. There's been some very cautious people down the back. I mean, I don't mind this. I'm always advocating for this at Superspeedways, because I always think there is always a big one at a Superspeedway, almost always. I mean, there's very few races that I can think of that I've covered or watched that do not have, of any sort of decent length like this one, that have not had a big crash. And I think those guys are absolutely justified. They've got to be careful that this race doesn't go the next 50 laps green, which it still could do. But I don't mind that call staying out of the way at all.
No, I don't. It's but always as you said, there's always kind of expect there to be another caution to make the time back up. Usually a late race caution that bunches the field, so we can prepare for the chaos of the final few laps. But you run the risk of getting off the pace, off the back this early of going a lap down. And we already know we've got a few cars a lap down. We don't need to have 10 or 12 back there competing for the lucky dog. So they had to be smart about this and maybe line up occasionally and just run down some hot laps, single file, and close the gap down so they keep the front group honest there and not have to be concerned about going a lap down here with only a few laps left in the race.
48 to go at the line. Sorry. What has gone on back here?
I was just about to say, I just looked and saw there was about 4 cars that had meatball flags. So as we're going to get a look here, as Luke Gaultier is in this group, and you see them just getting collected there. And let's see, if we're going to have a car 25. Run back up. Oh, here we go. Yeah, just a 25. Once you got in the grass, it slows you down. But when you're running 190 miles an hour, it doesn't slow you down quite quick enough. Slides back up the track, and 77 gets collected there. Trevor Thomas, Ronnie Clark, Luke Gaultier, and I believe Caleb Ross, unfortunately, came back out and immediately got involved in that incident.
Well, that's pretty bad luck. As you say, we do have quite a few guys actually a little further down there who have got long repairs now. So we might start to see some retirements really for the first time. We've not really had too many of those here so far. It just shows, doesn't it, that it's I've always advocated for it. It's Superspeedway, hanging out at the back in a group, maybe not out the back, but certainly at the back. It shows you that even they weren't safe. They were in quite a small group back there and taking it easy, and even they weren't safe.
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly right. It doesn't matter. You're in the middle of a race, and if there's another car around, you have to be vigilant to make sure that you've got room to move around and to escape if necessary. Otherwise, we just saw exactly what would happen. It didn't matter if it's 4 cars or 40.
Exactly. It just takes 2 for a crash.
That's it.
Here is a bit of a lap car interaction again, by the way. Now, these are always dangerous as the field comes through. Now, this lap car has the chance to come down just after the tribal if they want to, but Jesse James earlier, courteousness was a little bit unusual. You don't often see it. So here we go. Joe Nordine goes up to the high side, but don't forget, not everybody has the chance to actually move up higher because they might already be too wide. Nordine's going to be, here we go. It could be trouble here, and thankfully it's not through the corner. So on the straight, they've got a bit more of a chance to race past this lap car, and we might well get away with this one.
Yeah, I think so. And that was the 25 of Ronnie Clark there, who we saw just in the replay just a few moments ago, and was coming back out on the track and did a good job. They got through the corner single file, and he was able to get down below the yellow line there on the back straight and able to let those drivers clear. And he falls to the back, and looks like he did not have enough to get back to the end of the draft. So he's going to continue to fall back, and he'll have those back markers to contend with as well.
Yeah, indeed. And the big group picks up another one. And they're just about to get through the first half of this lap now. That there isn't another lap car on the horizon unless there's some other delays for some time yet. So these guys can properly race. Now the outside line is going to get some momentum again here. Merrifield is the one who is leading that charge. He's being pushed by Miller at the moment. Those two are teammates, and we haven't seen too much of teammates working together, to be honest. It's just been about sort of grab who you can, really, and work with them if you can. But it's a bit of an example of teammates working together here.
Yeah, absolutely. The Ilms, Merrifield, and Miller up there on the high line, and I just thought it was interesting. I was kind of looking down the order here, and Josh Parent is hanging out in the back of this front group. He's decided I've got my bonus points. I'm just going to hang back here and chill out for a few laps. Maybe start trying to work my way forward after we have our potential green flag pit stops here in a few laps. And in the meantime, I'm just going to chill out back here and try and stay out of the trouble. As we now see trouble, as I think we're going to get a caution flag, or everybody will keep running. Looks like everybody's going to keep running, but that's really broken up this group.
Yeah, it has. It might have even reduced it to just 7, to be honest. Maybe even less. Wow, maybe 4. Wow, look at the front 4 who are really going here. Look at the big group steaming through as well. That car's very badly damaged on the front right. This is the 18 that is the worst out of this. Just some uneven pushing on the back straight here is the start of disaster, really. And what on earth was that all about?
Oh,
that's the biggest bit of netcode I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was the 20 car. We were kind of watching the 18, and 20 was 2 cars up and just lost the car going into the corner. That's very strange.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's net code from 5 feet away. That was Daniel Nogue on the inside, and he was doing a good job running the low line. But wow, you don't see that very often. That was pretty bizarre.
That was very bizarre. I've not seen netcode that bad before. That was extreme. As I say, this is the slight disadvantage not having a race control live tonight, and we will throughout the rest of the season. There's a couple of things about tonight. They're a little bit unusual, but no live race control. We do have fast repairs, but both of those are going to be reversed for the rest of the season. But where it would always normally be a caution, there has not been one because nobody spun round. Same with that incident a little bit further behind. So now we've only got a front 4 here. Nordine, Tate, Nogue, Lester, all at the front. And if they work together, they could drive home a massive advantage. Yeah,
absolutely. They've got to just stay in line because the 3 cars behind are lined up. So if they decide to get racy, it's good. That second group will pick back up very, very quickly as they run. If they run too wide, it just opens a much bigger hole, and it's going to allow those cars behind to close things down. And you see another group a little bit further back. So it's just a matter of when these groups are going to get together. And once they do, very, very tight move there by the 88 down on the inside as he works his way around. Tate on the inside, taking Nogue and Sean Lester with him, the 31, as Nordine slots back down to P4. And that allows a little bit of purchase, a little bit of gain there by that second group. Still well out of the draft as of right now, but you see the 29, Sorrow, Merrifield in the 82. And the car behind them, I believe, is Datamo in the 36. Yeah, it is indeed. And they're doing a good job just kind of running nose to tail. They'll do some pushing as best they can. As we see another 4-car group behind them. So at some point in time, these groups are going to start closing each other up. It's like, drops of water. They eventually just find each other and make a bigger drop. And that's what you'll end up seeing. And that should close everybody up, even without a caution. But as we know, we're probably close to a third of the way through our fuel run here from the start of stage 2. So we'll see if they're able to do that before then, or if it's just going to be these groups running kind of by themselves until we get to some pit stops.
I mean, we're not far away from actually being in a window where you can pit, and as long as you're in the draft enough, you can make it to the end. We've been told 37 laps are possible. We've not really seen the limit because it felt like everybody in the last stage was pitting to half it, half and half it, which took us by surprise, certainly. But everyone seemed to be in agreement about it. They all came in together. This is much worse organisation. What we saw earlier, they were very well organised not so long ago. But I think these guys are waiting for that 4 behind. I mean, they were doing well on their own, but anyway. They're going to allow another 4 to catch up here. Group led by Cameron Saro. And the group led by Sam Stramati is going to catch up now. But he's going to want to surely use his momentum to get to the outside of them. This could become a big mess here for these guys, as they're now 3 seconds off of the front 4. They could have, they were within 2 at one stage with the front 3. But anyway, what does Stramati just do here? He goes to the... he slows down to actually make sure he gets it. So here we go. There's 7 of them now in a line. Surely that is enough for them to catch up to the front 4, but this is taking quite some organising here.
Yeah, I think that'll definitely give them a little bit of an advantage. Now, how fast is the next question? But the front four are doing a good job of just keeping it together. It's almost like we're looking at a train of cars there as they are keeping everything very, very tight amongst themselves, and that's going to help them maximize their pace. But the 7 cars, I think, should be able to track them down, as we're already starting to see them dropping a couple of tenths. So Sorrow there in P5 is within 3 seconds now, so that gap is starting to drop.
I mean, as I say, it kind of was anyway. I don't really see the point of them dropping, but and now it's going the wrong way. I mean, in a big group, there are always more things that can go wrong. So I still think they should have carried on as they are. But anyway, if they end up with these 4, then it doesn't matter, does it, I suppose, how they get here, as long as they actually end up with these guys. These guys have got to stay focused, though, and stay organised. I think Nordine actually wanted to get overtaken so he could go to the back and start fuel saving a bit, because that might become more of a factor than it otherwise would have been. If it's a big group sort of race, even if it's only 15 in the big group, which is only half of this field, then you can obviously fuel save in the draft a lot more. With only 4 and you're leading the line the entire time, as Nordine would have been, then you're going to use a lot more fuel than everybody else. So I think that is why he dropped back to the 4th spot in this group here. Yeah,
Makes sense to me, as I think we are now in our window, our pit window here, with a little under 35 to go. So it's between now and about lap, I think, 87 is what we were kind of what we were hearing from race control. So we might can see, and if everybody splits it again, then 75 is the number. So we'll see what the strategies are going to play out. I'm sure that if there are any teammates out there in these groups, they're probably talking to each other and working out the strategy and trying to get as many cars on board with that strategy as they can. The more cars you can take down pit road with you, the easier it's going to be to stay together and get back up to pace a little bit quicker.
There's the evolution of Josh Parent's day. Just in the last few moments, his first moments really outside the top 10. He's now in 10th, but he's not been back here before the last few moments. Joe Nordine, meantime, has been in the top 8 the entire time throughout this race. That's a pretty remarkable record, considering the amount of guys we have in the field tonight and the ups and downs that there have been as well. So a great graphic to look at, see the evolution of the day, especially on a long day like this. We're about to hit the 2/3 mark, by the way, of the Standing Stone Pools and Patios 250. This after just over an hour of racing. So, yeah, about an hour and a half. Right? And as you mentioned, most of these races this season are going to be about half the full-length races. So, hour and a half, sort of 2 hour, going to be the norm this season. A little bit longer than what we've seen normally, or certainly last season and seasons before, where races have. Now, some seasons we've had races barely touching an hour, but these are longer tests this season.
Yeah, they really are. I'm just kind of looking at our teams here to see if we've got any teammates up at that front, and it doesn't look like we do. It looks like it's 4 different team cars in that front group. As just kind of looking, I think actually Lester is one of our privateers. Oh well, no, there is. He's in Lucky Racing, so it's Nordine is in. You try to find a name live here, and it just doesn't work. As I do know that Tate is in Firehouse and Nogue is in Big Daddy Motorsports. So four different team cars in that front 4, and they're doing a really good job. They're still stretching that gap out to a 7-car pack behind. So these guys are really doing a great job of working together, staying in line, keeping the gaps tight between the cars. And that's really helping them maximize their pace as we're running through here. And that second group with 7 cars just not able to gain anything. As a matter of fact, they're still kind of they're 4 seconds back, so they've lost a second here over the last 2 or 3 laps, and just not able to get everybody lined up properly and get going. I think if I was Sorrow, I'd see if there might have been somebody a little bit faster up front, like maybe Merrifield or Shermati. Merrifield, we know, has got a quick car from his running earlier up at the front of the field, so I might want to give to give up the lead here and just drop back to the back of this pack and allow somebody else to take charge and maybe push this group forward.
It's always interesting, isn't it? The combinations when we get into a stage of the race like this. Oh my word! Another moment where we get away with one there, and that puts Cunningham and Michael D'Adamo, out of the group of 7, reduces it to a 5. So how did this happen? They were the 2 off the back, and the concertina effect just catches them out, and D'Adamo hits Cunningham, and there they go. They're out the group.
Yep. Just like that. Yeah, they had a good run, and D'Adamo was just a push at the wrong time, and 86 had nothing else to do except avoid the car in front, which was Josh Barrett. And but yeah, that's dropped them off. So now it's a 5-car pack chasing a 4-car pack.
Well, it doesn't necessarily matter about the pure numbers. the 3 were catching the 4 earlier when it was a 3, but since then the 7 as it was, and I suspect the 5 now also will have very little chance. The gap's now about 5 seconds. Wonder when these stops are actually going to come here. They all stopped on that 47 last. If we're to believe the numbers we've been past, which there's no reason not to, we would expect these guys can go another 13 laps if they want to. But will they? There's only 4 laps until they're basically splitting the second stage in half. Second stage of almost 50 laps. So I wonder whether we might be closer than we realised maybe to some more green flag pit stops here.
Yep, as we get a caution. So that's going to change things up a little bit as we're now under our 4th caution of the night. So 66 car, as you see, around down on the bottom, and we're going to get the replay here, running behind the 43 of Zach Tyndall. And that's a car up high and just was looking high, and some car came low, and contact made there. I think that was the 20 on the high line. 28, I'm sorry, the 28 on the high line, the 25 with some net code on the bottom as well. So yeah, not great for Gosnell there in the 66. As I think that was Christopher Herr on the high side. You see him bounce off the inside wall. So obviously a lot of damage there on the right side of that car. And then I think he's got a tow, and he does indeed. And then that's going to be another car off. Oh, okay. So maybe he didn't. I thought he just blinked, I guess. So he's going to bring that car around. And if he's still got a fast repair, he's going to get that car serviced and back out. Otherwise, it might be his day done. As we get back here, the replay is. Oh, I heard it. Blown engine for the 30. Wow. Okay. So obviously, I don't think he was shifting there. So maybe the car. Oh, he did. I just watched the revs. It was up at 9,800. We're going to get a good shot from Omet there as he's slowing down. I think maybe he upshifted or downshifted instead of upshifted was what he was trying to do. I'm not sure, but either way, it was one shift too many, and that engine's gone.
Yep, it is. Not the best way to go. Here it is. Wait for it. Oh, Omet's trying. There we go.
There it is.
Just in case just in case you don't realise that you've messed it up, it goes bright red as well. So that's nice. 4th caution of the day, and more pit stops here. The final pit stops of the day, just to take on the fuel that is required to get you to the end. Well, that was quite deep in the box there from Cameron Saro. Thought he'd overjudged, but no. Joe Nordine was in there first, stationary. Is he going to win the race off pit lane here, I wonder? He certainly is, and comfortably as well. So Nordine leads them. Then it's going to be James Tate, then Daniel Nogue, Austin Stamper, Sean Lester, Sam Schmati, Cameron Saro, Michael D'Adamo, Braxton Merrifield, and Joshua Parent, the top 10. There are currently 19 drivers on the lead lap who have all pitted there. There may be some wave rounds. There's a couple of drivers, Nathan Merrifield, Christopher Herr, who have either received wave rounds or are going to, and might get back onto the lead lap. But there's not going to be much more than 20 cars on the lead lap, and I can't imagine any of them are going to be intentionally falling off the back of the pack either from now on.
No, I don't. I can't see that as we are getting to the point to where you need to be in that front group at the end. I thought Josh Parent, I think, took 4 tires on that stop. We might have to bring our tire change up, our graphic up on the tower there. There we go. Nordine with 2. So a lot mix of 4 and 2, mainly 4s though. So only a couple of drivers took 2 tires. So which I kind of expected to see a lot of, but you know, at this point in the race, 4 tires not going to hurt, and it's going to give you your maximum grip out there for the final run to the finish. So probably not a bad call. It's only got to cost you about 3 or 4 seconds, and you can get back out. You're going to pick that all back up under the safety car here as we are getting ready to get back underway here in a couple of laps, and we'll have us a nice little dash to the finish.
We will. It will be in the last quarter of this race, effectively. I think we're going to go green with 25 laps to go as the lights go off on the pace car. Now there'll be 1 wave round for that driver there, who is Ronnie Clark, getting to be 2 laps down rather than 3, and we'll race around to the back of the field. This tonight, by the way, if in case you've not been with us so far, is the Standing Stone Pools and Patios 250, and a big thanks to them for being a title sponsor of this opening round of the season. Since 1953, our family-owned business has been committed to delivering exceptional construction and superior customer care. Standing Stone Pools and Patios is a division of Kello Construction Incorporated, led by our in-house general contractor. Our legacy in the construction industry allows us to provide unmatched quality and long-lasting results for every project we touch. Contact us at 615-707-0363 for your custom pool and patio needs in Middle Tennessee. Again, a big thanks to them for sponsoring this opening race of the season, the 250-mile race here at Daytona tonight, the opening round in the Action Roofing Cup Series. I'll say 25 to go when we go green, and 21 on the lead lap officially now. It's going to be a busy restart, that's for sure, but how many of these restarts are we going to see, I wonder, before we end this race tonight?
Yeah, you kind of wonder as we've seen a few here as we get ready to head down into the desertdiecast.com restart zone. I figure we probably got one more caution in us before the end of this race, so we'll see how clean it becomes here, and we'll see how many cars drop off. I kind of agree with you. I think everybody's going to need to stay up in this front pack for the remainder of the race in order to have a chance to get a good result.
Well, it's the first race of the season. Getting off to a good start, always very important. It was Joe Nordine who took the most points anyway out of the first round last season of the O'Reilly Series. That also was at Daytona back in March. He's at the front again here as we get ready for another restart. He is wow, look at that, pulling clear. 25 to go here at Daytona, and he might have even got too far out front there, Joe Nordine.
Yeah, maybe half. He's up there. He's got his choice of lanes though, so that's the best opportunity as the bottom line is starting to close the gap now. He's going to have to pick a lane here and get back down to the bottom. And you see a good run from the 88 there on the outside as he's getting a good push there from Austin Stamper as we see English move up to the top row. So now the outside group is actually starting to get a bit of a good run here, and the 88 is now up in the lead with a good push there from the 8 car.
Whoa, look at the momentum on the outside just going away, and the concertina effect had to be reacted to there by Josh Parent, who could see what was happening just up in front of him, and he had to lift off. Look at this, he's right up to the back of the Chevrolet in front at the moment. It's a sea of Chevrolets back here, by the way. The 48 just in front of us, Sam. Is that the 48 of Sam Stramati? It has to be, I suppose. Yeah, there it is. It even says his name. Parent going to go to the inside, maybe. Through the middle, is he? On the back straight. Are we about to see 3 wide for the second time tonight? It's been ages since we've seen it, but Parent is fed up with this outside line and its disorganisation. He's going to the middle lane to try and make something happen.
Yeah, he needs to get that. He needs to get clear of the 48 quickly, or he's going backwards. You just can't survive in the middle there for very long with the 2 runs, and now he's up to the top line. That's exactly what he needed to do.
That was very close, though. The contact would have been deadly as well, as they all pulled down low, by the way. Nordine has kept the lead. He didn't go out too far, as it turns out. Nogan, Lester next in line, then Saro also in the single file. The outside line being led by Michael, not Michael Dynamo, he's on the inside there. James Tate it is, but look at Parent just steaming through the middle. He's so much faster than the others right now.
Yeah, it really is. He's really, the 24 with a little wiggle. And I think everybody caught that. That was very close, though, as a 24 just shimmying sideways and gets that car recovered. That could have been deadly for a lot of the cars out there.
I mean, it's really fractured the field. The top 17 are the part of the lead lap who are actually fighting at the moment. The gap for those front 5 or 6 is massive. Now it's starting to be brought back again by Merrifield from the top 6. I mean, it's partly because of the 3 wide racing and that little hiccup we saw for English in the 24 a little bit further back. But we survive on the back straight and we stay green. But you wonder how long we're going to survive for here. Are we going to get through these 21 laps at the line without another caution? It feels a little bit unlikely at this stage.
Yeah, it is really racy here at this point as we're getting ready to start lap 80. As you saw Parent making a couple of moves there. And we're going to get them to work here on the inside, and you see the cars just bumping. And that was, the 20 into the wall on the high side. Hard hit for the 20 car. That is Jason Reeves, and that's going to be race done. Obviously not going to get back out there after that one. But you saw it was just bumps and checkups there on the low line. And then you saw a couple cars. You saw, there we go, the 24. And that was what caused the checkups behind him. And the 20, the unfortunate benefactor there of a crash into the wall. As I was going to throw a shout out to Sean Lester running in third, up 23 positions, peaking at the perfect time. He's got his way up to the front on that inside line and is in a really good position to get a podium here tonight. Just starting from the back and just slowly and methodically working his way up. You just kind of see it there. Didn't really do anything fancy. He just took his time and picked up spots where he could, and here he is now sitting in third.
Yeah, stayed out there to lead a couple of laps while we had those green flag pit stops, if you remember, in the middle of the first stage. That's where you saw that peak, but really didn't start to gain position through the field since after that first stage completed. He's gone to the outside now, trying to challenge Nordine and Nogue, who are on the inside line there together. Not the 88, sorry, somebody else pushing him there instead. Lester, who just slips back. Nogue able to, Nogue was already through, sorry. Saro trying to slip through as well. You can see them side by side for third place at the moment as they come across the line. 19 to go. Nogue sliding as he was pushing Joe Nordine there.
That was very close. Is trying to get that bump lined up and lost a little bit of the rear, but able to hang on to it and gave Nordine the push he needed to go back up to front and brought Nogue with him. Sorrow as well, so the top 3 cars up there with clear air on the outside. The 31 looking forward as well as he is now slotted down into 4th. Now moved up to the top.
Yeah. Oh, to 3 wide again. Are we going to see? We're going to see a turn here. Oh, the 31 around. The 82 involved. 73 up into the air. Sam Stramachi is involved in the 48. The 55 spins. My goodness. This is about a... this is a bit earlier. This is something maybe in the preceding to it, but Sam Stramachi eventually gets involved in it. Happening a little bit further up in the pack here. You can see the restlessness going through the entire group, really. It hasn't come out of absolutely nowhere, this accident. In towards turn 3. There's just a little bit of contact up ahead. You can see it just there. The 31 gets turned right in front of Caleb Hunt. It is who first goes straight in. Sam Stramachi tries to slow down while half on the apron, gets turned himself straight into the wall, and all of those guys better hope they've got a fast repair, otherwise that's pretty much day done.
Yeah, unfortunately, and I've just I guess that's a commentator's curse taking effect. Very sorry about that to Sean Lester, is just running that high line, and I think maybe just a little bit too aggressive behind. Is he was up front, and the push kept coming through the corner, and that's one of those no-nos. You don't want to be pushing through the corners here. It just doesn't. It's just a low percentage move, and I think that caught the 31 out and sent him around and took out a couple other cars in the process.
Well, they are starting to drop by the wayside now, these guys in this race. In this opening round at Daytona. You always expect to see it, but we've seen some drama in the last few laps, that's for sure. The guys have caught up to the pace car a little bit earlier this time, but I can't imagine there's many stops yet to happen here for these guys. Well, other than the obvious, I suppose. There's 31 of Sean Lester into the pit lane. Now, he's carried on with the, I guess, ambition of someone who has still got a faster pair left. So let's see if that is actually true.
Yep.
There we go. Nicely done.
Right.
So Sean Lester still in the game, but he will have to start from the back.
Yeah, he'll have to make that run a little quicker this time from the back to the front. But obviously, he was showing pretty good pace, setting up there in the front group. So now he's going to have to start to the back somewhere around P18 or so. As we do see Cunningham in the pits. I think he's got his fast repair done as well. And back out, heading back out, Braxton Merrifield back out the 82. I'm not sure if he went a lap down or not. I believe he did. So 19 cars on the lead lap. Merrifield will be the first car registered a lap down, but did not have a fast repair to take. So had to take his repair work naturally there. Was in for a minute 43. So he'll hope for another caution to get back on the lead lap. But obviously he had a fast race car tonight as well.
Yeah, so many of them who have unfortunately not been able to get to great results. I'll just go through the actually official retirements. Caleb Ross was the first just after this stage. Trevor Thomas has also officially retired. Jason Reeves is also an official retirement. There might be some more who are probably out. Showing Dylan Jackson is out the race at the moment. 14 minutes in the pit lane for Tyler Miller. Expecting him to be out. Luke Gauthier is still going remarkably, despite the fact he's 22 laps down. So he's recognising the importance of staying in the game for points, and he is pulling off to the side to make sure he's at the back and not disturbing anybody. But after all, Gauthier was only 88 points off a championship last season, and that was with some races missed. So he knows the importance of points, and he's running around 22 laps down to get them.
Yep, absolutely, and that's part of it is staying out there for as many laps as you can. And as long as he keeps running, he's got a chance to pick up a couple more positions. So he's got a chance to get some points on the board tonight. Obviously, not where he wants to finish. Obviously, I think he was one of our better drivers from the O'Reilly Series last season, and was challenging for the championship. Had some really good races. So we'll see. I'm sure we'll see him again later on this year as we're getting ready to get back under green here with Nordine and Nogue, our front row sitters, and with just about 15 laps left in this race.
That's what we're going to have when we go back green. Indeed, 15 to go. So the last run was 8 laps, something like that, 7, something like that. If we're going by that metric, there's going to be at least one more before the end of this race. Fifth caution of the night, though, is not too bad, I don't think, after 85 laps of racing. You did wonder what kind of race it was going to be when we got a caution before even turn 1. But the next one that we saw was a very long way down the road. We're about to get into the DesertDiecast.com restart zone. Big thanks to them for sponsoring the restart zone for this new season of the Action Roofing Cup Series. We'll see broadcast to you live every Saturday night here on Motormouth Broadcasting. We're live about 8 o'clock Eastern on a Saturday night with the Gen 6 Cup Series. We've now used the Gen 6 Cup cars in I2I Motorsports before. It's been 2 seasons of O'Reilly's, including when it was called Xfinity, of course, and 1 series of the trucks as well. This is the longest season we've had as well, 24 weeks running all the way until the 30th of January. 15 laps to go in this race, though. The Standing Stone Pulls and Patios 250 indeed. 100 laps, 250 miles. It's a half-length Daytona 500, and it has certainly felt like one here tonight. Into the restart zone again, and Joe Nordine gets us back underway and out to a big lead all over again.
Yeah, good jump from Nordine again. Gets that big gap, and it's going to be up to these cars behind to start ramping it up as we see the 63 staying up on the high line. Thought about coming down low, but just really wasn't clear as Sorrow fills that gap on the bottom.
Well, where does Nordine go now? You can see him up to the top now, goes back low again, blocking Sorrow. Now Nogue is going to get the momentum though, completely uninterrupted. The outside line has got all of the speed, and Michael D'Adamo pushes Daniel Nogue into a comfortable lead.
Yeah, nice push by D'Adamo there as Nogue now leave him out to dry, dropping down to the bottom. And so now that outside line's got a little more work to do as Nordine with a good run on the bottom moves up to the high line and tries to challenge Nogue again. Is going to get back over to the front.
Oh, no!
To the front.
Whoa.
Oh, no. Whoa.
D'Adamo so nearly turned Nordine there. That was so close. Parent saw it coming and he went to the middle. Oh, and D'Adamo's going to be in the wall here. Watch out, this is going to be drama. Unless he can get it out the wall. You almost get stuck up there sometimes if you're on the high side. And D'Adamo's going to go right to the back.
Yeah, it was probably there's a little bit of a scary moment. I think he was thinking, I might want to get out of this front group, and just maybe took it a little too high into the wall. But once again, we saw cars with a little bit of understeer once they get into the draft, and that could have had something to do with it as well. Just work their way high.
Who's going to be the next to challenge on the outside line? Looking around the corner, there is Josh Parent completely on his own. No help from anybody. And he drops to 9th. Still no help there. In the front group, by the way, we have 18 drivers at the front. 19 on the lead lap at the moment. 18 in this front group as things stand at Daytona with 13 to go. Now 12 and a half to go. But what a last few weeks for Daniel Nogue here. He's had a brilliant end to the O'Reilly series. He got up into 9th in the standings in the end, where both of his top fives came in back-to-back weeks, and indeed in I think 2 of the last 4 weeks. And he's continuing that form into this season as well, by the looks of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Having a great run tonight. Still back up in the front, and kind of looking to see where his teammate and I think trainer Brian Nash running in 18th. So at the very back of this group, he attributed Nash's coaching to really helping him get better with the O'Reilly car, and I'm assuming they've put in quite a bit to work to get up to speed on this Gen 6, and it's really paying off for Nogue as he's up there leading. And now I think Sorrow still giving him a push on the low line, keeping that low line moving forward.
Yeah, the low line is still the place to be here. Is this just a bit of a holding pattern on the way into... Oh, it's a caution! It's a caution again, and there's going to be about 8 to go or so, maybe 7.
Oh, no.
When we go back green, it's going to be a short run to the end. There was very much a holding pattern at the front of the race, but down the back, it's another concertina effect. Here comes the 77. Wow. Steaming into the 73 of Brian Nash, the reigning champion. Out, well, not out of contention completely, but is the cause of this most recent caution.
Yeah, fortunately, was not a lot of damage on the car, so we're gonna so he's gonna be able to hang on to the lead lap. Obviously, was already close to the back anyway, and we will so he'll get the catch back up, and we'll reset and try it one more time.
We will indeed. This is the 6th caution of the night here in the Standing Stone Pools and Patios 250, the first round of the Action Roofing Cup Series. Of course, Action Roofing, a new title sponsor for us here tonight. Let's take a look at them here just before we get to this 6th restart of the night. Roofing Cup Series here getting underway tonight from Daytona in the Standing Stone Pools and Patios 250. Big thanks to Action Roofing for coming on board for this title sponsorship in this long season running to January 30th this next year, indeed, in 2027. We're lap and a half to go until we go back green. Myself, Ian O'Leary, Charles Bosher with you on Motormouth Broadcasting tonight. I'm behind the cameras. We've had a good race tonight, Charles. It's going to get start and stop, I would say, from now until the finish. There's going to be 8 to go when we go back green. And when it's so intense, when the stakes are so high, when the first race wins on the line, you just never know whether there's going to be another one. And a new change for this season. We never know whether we're going to use any of the 3 green white checkers we've got now rather than the just one we've had in previous.
Yeah, absolutely. Is we have the opportunity to do the overtime system here, 3 green white checkers, and hopefully we won't need them tonight. But I think that we may have another caution before this is done. It's been this last 15 laps or so has been really late racy since we had that incident there a couple of cautions ago. And there's been some really aggressive line switching, and as well as pushing that hasn't quite gone perfectly tonight. And so, very possible we're going to get one more of those, but it's going to make it exciting, that's for sure. As we saw at the end of the first stage, the end of this race, it's going to be probably 7 cars sideways across the line. But that is part of racing here at Daytona.
Exactly. I mean, we got a real taste of it at the end of that first stage. We really did. Let's hope it's with less crashing across the line, but you just accept probably that is going to be sort of the thing here. On the lead lap, we've got 20 now because of the free passes that have been happening. We've got 20 on the lead lap. Braxton Merrifield is 1 lap down. Ronnie Clark 2 down. Dylan Jackson is out along with everybody else further down. Actually, Luke Gauthier even has come back down pit lane. So we have started to lose a few now. I think people have used their fast repairs and then gotten more damage as well further down the pack. So it is thinning out the field, but really the field has been split in half on pretty much every restart anyway, as those towards the back have tried to just stay out of trouble really to this point.
Yeah, and obviously, as we said earlier, this is not the time to be doing that. You need to be focused forward, trying to get as many positions as you can here, but safely, obviously. With 8 laps to go, you want to try and finish this race off on a positive note. So no holding back at this point. It's a race to the end as we get them lined up here, and we'll get things back underway here with Nogue and Sorrow on your front row. That very fast number 75 sitting just behind, and James Tate on the outside has shown some good speed as well. So these front 4 cars are going to be driving really hard here for the final few laps.
They certainly will. The 6th restart of the day as we head towards the DesertDiecast.com restart zone once again. There will be only 8 laps of the 250 miles left here tonight. Just 20 miles of 250 here remaining. This is the important end of the race. This is where the drama happens at Daytona. Here we go. Come to the restart zone now with Daniel Nogue in control. He was absolutely in control of the race before that previous caution, by the way. Let's see if he can control this restart as well, as he's got Joe Nordine pushing him in behind, and a very restless Merrifield in the 1 there. That's Nathan Merrifield, in the number 1, who is very restless and leaving a big gap on that inside line.
It really was, as I came down on the apron and had to come back up onto the track. As we see the 12 and the 22. 12 did not get the fastest restart there and held the 22 up. 22 says, you know what, I think I'm just going to go around you. Works back to the inside, gets that clear, and the 12, Logan Euchre, falls a little bit further back. I think Logan is thinking, this is my first race here. I think I'm just going to kind of hang out and see what happens from here and just get a good view at the end of this race as the 24, dropping down again, finding a slot that's just big enough for his car to work his way into and takes that to the low line there, is now the 1 moving to the high line.
Yeah, trying to get something to go there, but it's only really just left a gap for Jay English to come into, and that's a remarkable recovery for Jay English in the 24, steadily working his way back into a position of a potential top 5, maybe even more here tonight after not so long ago getting caught up. Look at the concertina effect here. Watch out, the inside line stacking really hard at the moment, and look at the outside line here, almost being disrupted by Josh Parent, who's continually going 3 wide here, but he's finally starting to get a line going really. We're properly 3 wide for the first time, although it's nearly resulted in contact again.
Yeah, he just got behind Jesse James and just said, I need to keep going forward. And James was not moving as fast enough for him, so he drops to the middle and makes that pass and brings Datamo with him. And so those 2 cars up on the high line as they're working together very, very well tonight, right behind Merrifield and Nordine. So Merrifield's starting to show a little pace here late in the race, and that high line starting to do a little bit of work.
Yep, Parent has now also stayed in line as well, which might be helping. Look at Nordine here, really being pushed by Merrifield. They've got to be careful with that. Very nearly got turned there. Merrifield very nearly turned him. Parent went down below the one, and Merrifield has missed its chance. Danamo's down there. Here comes Saro as well, trying to get down there. Merrifield's up there on his own now in the one, and there's not much help on the outside line there. 5 to go at the line.
No, and I saw the 88 car of James Tate had to chase the car down below the apron and recover it and managed to get back up. But I saw another car. It might have been Austin Stamper in the back as well, chasing his car way down off the racing surface. But so far, no cautions. Everybody's still racing, and they haven't slowed down over the front.
No cautions for the moment, but indeed anyone from now would give us our first green-white checkered of the season in the very first round. Nordine tries to block Merrifield, but goes too high. He's at the top of a 3-wide moment now. No goes in the middle, following Merrifield. There's side-to-side contact with Danamo and Merrifield now. Oh, that one is a pinball in the middle there, almost going up towards Nordine. Now he's going to get to the low side. It's only Nogue who's stuck in the middle with 4 to go.
Wow, one is really making his way to the front.
No, Gonzalati in the wall. Caution and green-white checkered for the first time.
Wow, just that Nogue unfortunately tried to go with Merrifield there on the middle line, and you just can't run that line for very long. And you see the result of that as you saw some bump in there between the 36 and the 1. As the 1 works his way through and drops to the bottom and just leaves Nogue with no help, and Nogue with nowhere to go, stuck in the middle with Sermati on the outside, and you saw the car just ever so slightly work up the track into Sermati, and there you go. There's the spin and first green-white checker of the night coming up.
It's always bound to happen with a bit of a 3-wide moment, any slight bit of contact, and you're bound to get into that sort of trouble. Unfortunately for Nogue, his great run tonight. You see how long he's been up the front there. He's barely been out of the top 5 in the second half of the race. Now all of a sudden that has very much gone away. So I'd say it is green-white checkered time. The most part of the stops happened with 27 to go of the normal race. So if there's 3 attempts, they might be a little bit concerned about fuel, but I think with 1 or even 2, they'd be fine. The thing that always surprises me about green-white checkers is just how important where your starting position actually is. You've got to be quite far towards the front, and to be honest, on the front row or 2, I would say. I think Parent's in a very, very strong position here, and yes, he can be a bit of a target as the leader, but also you can have a big advantage as being able to set the restart here.
Yeah, absolutely. You get to dictate when you go, and it usually gives, we saw with Nordine earlier, had a couple of really good jumps on restarts. I kind of expect the same thing out of Parent, but obviously you don't want to get too far ahead because we saw the result of that as, the driver would pick a lane, the other lane would just work their way past, as now we are getting things ready here for our first green-white checker with it's going to be Parent and Merrifield on the front row. Very fast cars in Nordine and Dodamo sitting there in row 2. And hate to see it for Nogue. We talked about him, but now with the meatball flag, he's in the pits, and I think that might be he's actually not. He's actually staying out there. Nash in the pits getting something going on here as he is going to get his last stop. But I think you and I, if you watch other iRacing content, we don't want anybody running out of fuel. I think it's the biggest thing is we don't need that happening here in this race tonight.
No, especially not if you're in the middle of the pack on one of these restarts. That would be ideal. There's the damage for Nogue. I mean, that's not insignificant, is it?
No, it's not.
I mean, we talk about a road course sometimes in other forms of racing. Some circuits where you need more straight line speed than others, and you can't afford to have damage more than others on the aero because of those reasons. If this is the ultimate aero straight line speed sort of circuit, if you like. Obviously, there's many more factors into play than that, but I mean, Nogue's just riding around for points here. He's not hoping to win with a car like that. He's not going to try to win, I don't think, with a car like that, unless everybody else crashes in the next 2 green-white checkered attempts and somehow he finds himself at the front. But
Well,
But he needs to stay there, doesn't he? Just to try and get what he can here.
Well, I think the problem is I think he's not going to be able to stay out there because I think he's going to run out of laps. You can only run 3 laps under that mechanical black flag. Then on the 4th lap through, it's a disqualification. So I think I'm not sure if I've got the math right, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to stay out there. I think he's going to have to come in, unfortunately, or he's going to risk getting a DQ here at the end of the race.
Yes, that's a good point, to be fair. Wow, that's a bad-looking car.
Yep.
28, that's Christopher Herr, who's been in there for 3 minutes. We're not going to be seeing that one again, I wouldn't have thought, given how bad that one looks at the moment. There is the 82. Didn't get caught up in anything terrible, Braxton Merrifield, but clearly bad enough. He's currently 1 lap down. And by the way, the only one lap down with Ronnie Clark, who's just got a free pass to be 1 lap down with Merrifield. So those two will fight it out, and they'll hope for a free pass from one of these green-white checkers here. There's going to be at least one as they get 1 to go, and our first attempt coming up.
Yeah, and obviously we're going to get that green flag, and if we make it to the white flag, any cautions after that is going to freeze the field. But if we have a crash on that first lap, they'll reset, and we'll try it at least one more time in order to get 2 green flag laps and get this race finished. I'm old enough to remember when this changed, to be fair. I just kind of funny. I was actually at a race at Talladega when they were still finishing races under caution, and that race ended under caution. And I think that was the 4th or 5th race in a row. And the track was summarily filled up with garbage and cups and bottles and things of that sort. I think NASCAR decided, you know what, we not need to come up with a better format because this is not working for us anymore.
And I do get that. But don't you think we didn't realise how good we had it? I kind of missed that, really. I think, especially super speedways, sometimes in iRacing, I think it's sometimes less of a farce than real life. Sometimes in these restarts with the green light changes. But anyway, let's see how tonight goes before I go on any further about that. We might just be clean through here with 1 attempt. But let's see. Into the desertdiecast.com restart zone we'll go. And it will be Josh Parent in control of the field. 19 on the lead lap. Not all of them undamaged, to be fair. There will be some guys out the back, but there's some guys who are desperate to win the first race of the season. Here we go for attempt number 1 as Josh Parent gets us underway.
Yeah, good start from Parent on the inside. I heard him lift. I think he decided that he did not want to get that big of a jump on Nordine, and so he kind of lifted as he was building up speed there and allowed Nordine to catch back up. The 1 drops down to the bottom.
Yeah, a bit of trouble in the background, but nothing too terrible. Just a little bit of contact with the wall. Very clean start. Nordine really pushing hard. He's got to be careful with that. I know that Parent's moving to try and block him as well, but that's going to turn if he's not careful. Josh Parent very nearly turned there. That was super close, and there is trouble in the background. There's a caution on the backstretch, and another load of cars taken out in this one.
Yeah, and just kind of saw that happen with the drama up front. It just kind of trickles to the back, and eventually everybody runs out of luck as we're going to get a replay here from Brian Nash's car as he's just behind this group watching, see if he can sneak through here as we got cars running everywhere. Woo! And I think he made it. So great bit of driving there by Brian Nash to avoid all those cars. And we did see several cars back there. There's Zach Tyndall, as well as Austin Stamper into the wall as we get another replay here. And it's just where the cars are too wide. And you see the cars just catching back up to the group in front. And you see the push up there. And now, wow, what a push. I think that was Datamo there on Merrifield. And then falls back, and the 43 of Zach Tyndall gets involved. The 2 car, I think, as well, was involved in that. Might have been the 8 of Stamper. But you could just see that push, and it just checked that outside line up tremendously out there, and it just trickled all the way to the back, and then ran out of racing luck, unfortunately, for some of those cars.
Well, indeed, we will need a second attempt. We'll see how many really are affected by that. crash there in as far as they can't actually continue on anymore. Although, as we've seen already with the likes of Daniel Noak, they'll just try and clear what they can and get out there for the points. I noticed that Luke Guthier is back out there again, by the way, 23 laps down. He's stopped for another 2 minutes 40 not that long ago, but he's back out there again. If there is, actually I think because of this restart, because it's green, white, checker, he's already got past Dylan Jackson. And because of this next one there's about to be, I think he's going to get past Caleb Hunt as well. So there's a couple of points that have already made it worth it for him. But I don't really know what we learned from that restart, to be honest. I mean, Nordine was super aggressive behind Parrott there. That I'm amazed Josh Parrott didn't get turned on the back straight there multiple times. In the end, they survived. But, I mean, I don't think these guys are any closer to knowing what's the best way to go about trying to win this race.
No, but I think Parrott had the right idea as he got a good jump, but he didn't stretch that gap out too far. He kept Nordine within shouting distance there, did not allow him to get that big run with the draft and get a slingshot around, so he kind of prevented that from happening. But you could see Nordine wanted clear. He wanted clear of Merrifield on the high side so he could make a move because he knew he was going to be able to at least give it a try, and he wanted to get up to the high side and at least battle Parrott side to side, and just not quite enough there yet, but he's going to get another shot at it here. I expect to see the same thing from Parrott again this time. Is just he'll get a good jump and he'll kind of back it up a little bit to keep those cars from getting too big of a run there. And I believe I do see Daniel Nogue back in there, and his mechanical has been cleared, so he's back out on the track. He is still on the lead lap, so running in 15th, so still a chance to get some decent points out of this tonight, especially with what's been happening here over the last couple of restarts.
Yeah, it's unlikely to be a win, is it? But there's definitely a chance for some good points here in this race. In case you're wondering, by the way, about a time limit for these races, if they go on for a bit long, we've always had a 3-hour time limit for these races, which we're realistically never going to get to. Maybe at the Superspeedways, if we have a particularly terrible race, we might get close, but we're not even near 2 hours at the moment. So we are going to go sailing under those 3-hour requirements. Whether this is the last restart or not, it will be the penultimate one at the very least. It could be the last one. You just never know as the lights go off on top of the pace car. There will be 18 on the lead lap. Ronnie Clark got his free pass, and so he's back onto the lead lap this time, which is fascinating. Although he will have to start from the very back, and he'll be unable to do much from back there. It's good to see him back on the lead lap. At least Gauthier comes back in, probably deciding that his day might be done. He's got past Dylan Jackson anyway, but this could be the last restart here after caution number 8 of the day. But let's see, because you never know with green, white, checkered racing. They've got one more attempt after this one if they need it.
Yep, and we'll see what Parrott does here with now with Nordine on the outside. He's going to have to, if he gets that jump, he may have to move up to the high line to block. But with Sorrow behind as well, Tate has been fast tonight. It's going to be very difficult to keep both those lines behind him, and so we're going to see some side by side here for the next lap or so as we get ready for this restart.
It's such a crucial restart potentially in the course of this season. Of course, this being the first round, it rather sets your momentum for the ones to come. We've got a long schedule and a long schedule of weeks in a row, by the way. The first 7 weeks of a season in a row at the beginning here, running all the way to the end of August. So this first race rather does set the tone for quite a long run to come, and quite a long run of different types of racetracks as well. The intermediates at Atlanta, Michigan, Vegas, the short tracks of Phoenix and North Wilkesboro, or even the road course of Sonoma. It's all in the next 7 weeks that are set in terms of momentum by this one here at the at Daytona at the opener. Josh Parent is going to have the chance to lead another restart in the DesertDiecast.com restart zone. Here he comes towards potentially the last green flag of the day. Green, white, checkered attempt number 2, and Nordine this time stays much closer on that outside line, with Saro pushing Parent on that low side.
Yeah, Nordine with a good run there, managed to hang right with Josh and keep that even as they work their way down through turn 1.
So far, Parent almost getting clear. But last time Nordine was directly behind him, they nearly came to blows. What a run for Nordine there. What a push from Merrifield in the 1. And Joe Nordine is clear on the backstretch.
Yeah, here we go. It's getting racy. Is the one going to drop down? Is he going to be able to get though? He does indeed. And Nordine comes down to block that. So now we've got Nordine, Merrifield, Parent, your top 3 as that low line's ramping up. And here comes Parent to the outside.
Yep, he's got the run as he's going to have to. Here comes 1 to go. Sponsored by Apex Graphics. It is 1 lap to go. This race is official. Nordine blocks Parent. He tries to come to the low side but can't. Josh Parent on the inside looking for this race lead.
Yeah, here we go. As Parrott just almost clear, not quite 29, giving a good push there as the 88 goes high, 1 drops low, and now it's a 4-car battle up at the front with Nordine in the lead.
Yeah, there's only 6 really in the front group as well, because behind 7th place there's a huge crash. Parent now getting pushed by Cameron Saro, who wants to be second coming off of 4. Parent wants him to dip low early. He's not going to. Dadamo tries to in the 36. See if Nordine's got some space to come back here, because there's a big run to the line. Parent being pushed by Saro all the way. Joshua Parent is going to add to its 4 wins from last season with the opening round win in the Action Roofing Cup Series here tonight at Daytona.
What a finish, as we saw. I believe some car might have been the Sean Lester in the 31, just getting all kind of squirrely there at the end. There you see Dadamo with a broken car, but finishes 4th in that. Had a chance for a podium, but just got shuffled out by Nordine there at the very end. But great racing up at the front of this field in those last 2 laps.
I mean, look at this. Teammates, Prophecies Racing, Saro pushing Parent, Dadamo blocking Nordine the best he could. In the end, he didn't really need to. Actually, it wasn't Nordine that hit Dadamo. It was somebody else coming in from behind. But Saro pushing Parent all the way. Once he'd gotten to the back of the 22 car, it looked like he knew exactly what he was going to do there.
Yeah, it really did. And hey, shout out Sean Lester, P5, after falling, getting wrecked, and having to take his fast repair there in the late stages, ran his way back up to the front and to get the 5th place overall. So 21 positions up, hard charger of the race. So great run by him. But what can you say about Josh Parent? Great battle between him and Nordine and Saro there at the end. And it was just who's going to have a chance to make that last pass at the very end, and Parent able to just nip those other 2 cars.
Here's the race results from tonight. Cameron Saro. What? Hello.
That's. I see a black flag next to Josh Parent.
Did he get that after the line, or is that going to?
I don't know the answer to that question. Okay. I'm just looking at the timing and scoring. It's got a black flag beside him, and I'm assuming based on what I'm seeing here is it happened before the line, because he is not inside the top 10 at all. So that's very weird. Could he have hit the incident limit? Surely not.
Maybe, but you'd think that's impossible, really. But
yeah, anyway. That's what I would think.
I'll read them out as they went over the line anyway. Parent in front of Saro, Nordine, Dadamo. It was Sean Lester who was arriving on the scene very late, by the way. James Tate was the other one in that big group. Jay Inglis was rather on his own. Brian Nash only just ahead of Jesse James, who managed to finish 9th. What a great drive from him. Austin Gosnell round out the top 10. Cody Johnson on his own as well. Ronnie Clark was in the next group, already a group, I should say. Mark Dingman, Logan Hooker, and Steve Cunningham were all involved in that. Sam Stramati was also on that lead lap. Nathan Merrifield, I think, was just towards the back end of that lead lap before you get to the likes of Daniel Nogue, who might have been a lap down there. Same for Paxton Merrifield. Austin Stamper got to the end, but also laps down. So was Jack Tyndall, Christopher Herr. Then those retirements, Caleb Hunt, Luke Goffier, Dylan Jackson, Jason Reeves, Tyler Miller, Trevor Thomas, and Caleb Ross. Well, there's only one way to find out what happened to Joshua Parent, and that's to ask him. So let's do that, shall we, and bring him in. Josh, welcome in. Good to have you with us. We're just having a fright that you've lost the race because you had a black flag. That's not the case.
No, it DQ'd me during my burnout. I've never had that one before.
I did wonder, we didn't know the answer, but we did wonder whether it came after the flag or not. We wondered whether we missed something. But anyway, congratulations, and thanks for the fright at the end. How was that last 2 laps there? We saw that the working together between yourself and Saro, and eventually getting over Nordine there. Obviously, Michael Dynamo was in there as well. Just tell us about that final green-white checkered attempt there.
Well, that's 3 teammates right there. Me, Didamo, and Sorrow. They traded for me in the off season, and it just paid off. We got first, second, and fourth. So we worked together really well the whole race, and we were just kind of talking before that green white checkered and just telling each other, yeah, let's just not cost each other the race. Let's at least one of us win. And yeah, it just turned out everyone was bouncing off each other and stuff, and it just, Joe was kind of a sitting duck with us working together. Just didn't have much help, and it just turned out to work in our favor.
How much coordination does it take to get to that point, or is it about making sure that when you're in that situation, you sort of react accordingly? You know, is there a plan to get to this stage where there's 3 of you in that top 4, as you say right at the end there?
I mean, it's kind of luck, right? You got to avoid the crashes. I led a lot early, and then just it seemed like just every move that I made was the wrong move, or just whatever lane I went to wasn't moving. So I had fallen back a little bit, but through crashes and other stuff, we ended up working our way back up to the front, and through a couple good restarts, we all ended up managing to be around each other. And then when you take 3 cars that want to work together versus other guys that kind of just are wanting to win, then you get a little bit of an advantage there.
Well, 4 wins last season. You've already got 1 this season in the first race. Congrats on the win tonight, Josh, and thanks for chatting to us at the end of the race as well.
Thank you. You guys have a good night. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Josh Parent, the winner tonight from Daytona in front of Cameron Sario. Might well have a similar story to tell. Let's see. Cameron, welcome in. Congratulations on 2nd place and being such a big part in that team effort there between yourself and Parent, and see Michael Dadabo as well, who was up there with you towards the end. Just tell us about the moment which you decided it was no longer about you winning the race and about trying to help one of your teammates to do so.
Oh man, it's always been about my teammates. I mean, even all last season, we were trying to figure out how to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and it just never worked out until tonight, which we're really tickled about it. It paid off for us tonight.
Tell us about that as a role for yourself, because you know you're a strong driver in your own right, but you're on a strong team this season. Obviously, there's team standings to worry about as well as the drivers. But you know it's a playoffs format this season with the 6 races to the end. Do you think you're going to give the drivers a go as well as the teams this season?
I think so. I think we've got a really strong team this year. We've been putting in a lot of time in practice. I think we'll go all the way this year.
Well, we look forward to seeing it, Cameron. Thanks for chatting to us tonight. Congratulations on 2nd place at Daytona.
Yes, sir. Thank you all.
Thanks very much. Cameron Sorrow, 2nd place here tonight at Daytona, in front of Joe Nordine, who finishes in 3rd place. Oh, sorry, Joe, I interrupted your conversation down there.
Oh, you're good.
Congratulations on getting back to 3rd here tonight. 20 laps led in the night overall, but not to be at the very end. Just tell us about how maybe frustrating that was on that final restart there. You know, teammates everywhere around you. It made it very, very difficult, it seemed.
Yeah, it was pretty difficult, but you know what? I had a great spotter. And you know, we had a good race. I thought it was going to be a little bit more chaotic up front, but everybody just ran just an awesome race. And, you know, I'm just happy to be back. 3rd place podium, first race back. I'm just happy to be back. I want to thank, Trey for that and the other admins, and just want to thank them for bringing me back.
Well, absolutely. And, you know, it's a good way to start 3rd place in this season. I guess the target for you is to challenge with the others. Is it for the driver's title this season? Is it throughout the 24 weeks?
Yeah, we're coming for Mr. Brian Nash. Yeah, we're gonna be at the top. We're gonna be fighting all season, and I hope it's gonna be a really good season. I'm excited to race with these guys.
Good to have you back on the grid, Joe. Congratulations on 3rd place tonight, and thanks for chatting to us at the end as well.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you guys. Have a great night.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much, Joe Nordine. Third place here tonight. By the way, there's a little fact before we go to Michael Dynamo, who's also there. We'll have a quick word with. Top three all started as the top three in qualifying as well. Has that ever happened at Daytona in the history of the world?
Probably not.
Probably not. Let's have a chat to Michael Dynamo quickly before we go. Obviously, part of that great team effort here tonight. Michael, welcome in. Congratulations on a fourth place for yourself and a great team effort as well. Just tell us the emotions for yourself, not only for finishing fourth for yourself, but actually being able to share this moment with your teammates of a great start to the season, a 1-2-4 for the team.
I think it's pretty chill because I've been here for now. This is my going to third season, and I think this is my best finish in the entire 3 seasons I've been here. I know last season our team was a little bit iffy because we're part of an admin team as well, so some of us were doing admin stuff while the races were going on. And now we're able to kind of fully race and really show what we are made of, especially in these super speedways, which are my best tracks to run on. I know our team did well. We had a lot of good communication. And it kind of goes on from there. We're going to try to go up from here, see how this goes, work on what we need to work on as a team, and then kind of move forward. So,
I mean, if you're looking at super speedways, there's still 2 more of those to come this season. But for yourself, in terms of the drivers, 1 top 5 in last season's championship. Tell us about what the sort of confidence this gives you and the team that you can maybe get, more than the 1 top 5 over the course of this season, this time out.
I think the biggest confidence we're now in Cup cars. I rarely run in the O'Reilly cars. And so being back in a car that I feel a lot more confident to make some very, very, best way to put it, chicken crud moves, such as near the end of the race, I went 3 wide from, I think, 6th or 7th place up to 4th to get into the position I was in, through the whole field, and no one saw me coming, because I felt confident enough to make those moves. Going through all that and kind of seeing how I only got 1 top 5 finish last season, and now I'm starting off in a top 5 finish, definitely boosts my confidence going into the next few tracks we're going into. A little bit nervous about going to Phoenix, but going into Legacy, what is it? Atlanta, our next track, feels really good because when officials were at Echo Park, my first race in, I finished 3rd. So we're going into a spot where we're using cup cars and running at another track that we can do pretty well at. Gets me up there and happy that I can hopefully compete this season.
Oh, congrats. So. Yeah, congrats on starting off so well, Michael. Thanks for chatting to us at the end, and we look forward to seeing you in Atlanta next week.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, guys. Thanks
so much. That is Michael Dynamo, who chatted to us there at the end of tonight's race at Daytona. Well, it's quite a way to start the season here, Charles. I mean, Daytona always is, but that was a great race to start the season with here tonight. In the end, 7 laps more than we were advertised, but a great way to start the season and really sets the tone for what's going to be 7 weeks of back-to-back racing in this first part of the Action Roofing Cup Series this season.
Yeah, absolutely is a great race tonight. Very close finish is what we want to see, is what we normally see at Daytona. Going to the legacy version of Atlanta next week. Obviously, very, very fast track. It's going to be a little different if you're used to running the new Atlanta circuit, a little bumpier, little less grip than you're probably going to be used to. But as Michael said, we've got some drivers that have run well there, and I think we'll find some more as well for next week. So yeah, really looking forward to that as a great start to the season here.
Yep, indeed. Atlanta Legacy next time out. So the bumps are back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The 1.5 mile sort of intermediate, more style of circuit is back. No super speedway nonsense is Atlanta next week. So that's good. It's, as I say, Legacy Atlanta next week in these Gen 6 Cup cars as well. So we're going a bit retro next week. It will be live, of course, on Motormouth Broadcasting, same time, same place. We'll be live about 8 o'clock Eastern with all the build-up ready for qualifying at 1:15 and the race just after that. So make sure you join us for that. I've been Neil O'Leary alongside Charles Basho with the Met Owen behind the cameras of this broadcast here tonight from the opening round in the Action Roofing Cup Series, the Standing Stone Pools and Patios 250 here at Daytona International Speedway. Make sure you join us again in 7 days' time for the second round at Atlanta. Until then, goodbye for now.